Alrighty,
Oi.
guys. So we're live.
We're live.
Hello.
How you going, boys?
Going good.
That was a lot. That was a lot more difficult than it needed to be. I will apologise. This whole microphone setup is currently a big paperweight right now. I don't know what I did wrong. But could you tell it's been a while since we've done one of these, boys? I reckon.
Absolutely. We're never on time when it comes to this stuff.
No, we're hopeless. Well, yeah. And look, the Sanctum is it's got some teething issues, and I reckon I'm obviously not doing something very, very, very simple. And yeah, but it's okay. We're on. So what's going on, boys? End of the year. EDU's been a bit quiet, UTC's been a bit quiet, but there's been nothing much going on, so I don't know what we're worried about.
No, it's nothing to really go and sort of relate to, is there, at the moment? Nothing to recollect, except for everyone's going crazy and nuts over what's happening in the US at the moment with the yellow drones and that. And then we also had the US Congress meeting there with, one of the big hitters, Lou Elizondo. Yep. He hit hard there, and, even though it was not really much to go and come out of that whole
it sounded a little bit. It was more a bit of a. I was listening to Corbell and Knapp, and basically there was a bit of disinformation that got sent to that second Senate hearing that was just done a little while ago. However, I imagine. Look, the other thing is too, boys, that they confirmed that the aliens live under the ocean, and no one cares, man. No one cares again. You know what I mean? At least.
What drones?
What drones?
Drones. Talking about. I think we're going to be droning on a bit, boys, tonight. I think.
Yeah. Yes, we'll be droning on a bit.
But yeah, the worst thing out of that whole Congress meeting, though, was like, again, everything's going into a bloody skiff, and like the guys that the people who were the election members or whatever who they are, asking all these really good questions there, and again, just goes, I can't talk about it.
Yeah,
and that's the most frustrating thing that we've been hearing over these years. We can't talk about it, and it's like it's get to the point there where it's enough is enough. We need to go and start figuring out why we can't talk about this stuff. And it was mentioned there before too, like there is a lot of over security, international bloody bullshit, and over classifying a lot of these stuff that's in these reports and such. So there's no reason why they can't talk about it.
Well, look, we'll probably come back to that, boys. The fact that the aliens live under the oceans. The thing is, if people, the good people, review our previous lives, they would know that we've had that discussion. You know what I mean? That they're potentially under the ocean. But more importantly, drones or UAPs or orbs or what do we think, boys? What's going on? What do we? See, we've got orbs here, right? And then I know we were chatting over the last couple of days, and Anthony, you said it's all New Jersey. Well, it's not. You know what I mean? It's Arizona. There's stuff that's being reported internationally. But I think there's two things I wanted to say, boys, because I've had a realization about digital zoom, right? Because obviously I watch Anthony debunk everything, right? Nothing's a UFO at Canada's Down Under, right? However, I wonder about digital zoom, boys, right? I wonder whether a traditional film camera would be able to take better shots. Because obviously with digital zoom, we're playing with pixels, aren't we, right? So the more you zoom in, the larger the pixels, and that's what ruins everything, right?
Yeah.
So we're not getting good pictures of these anyway. And look, the reality is, since we last sat down as well, boys, AI has taken over a lot of stuff. Like, it's really hard to say what anything is right now. You've got to take every video with a grain of salt potentially. But something's definitely going on. Right, isn't it? We can argue about whether it's drones, whether it's orbs, whether it's well. The thing is, they are UFOs, aren't they? They're unidentified flying objects, right? That's the reality. Are they drone-like unidentified flying objects? Yes. However, my question is, because obviously, with the show coming up and end of the year and getting into the Sanctum and stuff, I was a bit of a dog with a bone. The boys in the chat no, because I've been putting 400 videos a day in the chat. But what's disturbing to me, so I go to a few different places, right? So I went to Corbell and Knapp, Weaponized. I went to Soraya. What's his podcast? I can't remember. I'll look that up before we go. I went to Joe Rogan, had old mate on, Ryan Graves.
On there,
yep. And basically, long story short, yeah, look, that's a good thing, Mr. Chandler, right? Where is
that's one of my questions was going to ring up later.
Yes, yes. Where are the multispectral images? What's going on? You know what I mean? Like, we know that DJI drones now, the latest DJI drones have the ability for IR, infrared, all those sorts of things. So let's not pretend that they don't, right? So, but the disturbing thing that came out of the Ryan Graves thing is he said that they have, and I heard this from a couple of other places as well, where hobbyists have sent the drone up, right? So, I got the Spark and sent it up to say good day, and the drones get close and they shut down. Or they can't actually. Yeah. So but then, boys, isn't that interdiction? Isn't that an act of war or what? If you're actively jamming the signal of something else, is that not,
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So one of my biggest arguments I was going to bring up was, we had the Chinese balloon go across and whatnot, and they're pretty quick onto that. We're going to shoot it down.
They launched an F-22 at it, mate.
Yeah. And
the F-22 missed, by the way. The F-22 missed. Let's not forget about that.
But yet now we have how many drones are there so far? Like 50 odd, if not more, and not a single. Oh, actually, no, sorry, a lot. I have seen some footage there which may be related to it. I don't know. I can't confirm it. But why aren't they shooking these drones out of the sky? If that's the case,
or why haven't they shot one of them out of the sky? If there's that many doing
one
passes and all that sort of stuff, why haven't they shot one out? I mean, it's America too, by the way. I mean, what are we talking about here? Like,
have you seen the civilians trying to shoot at them?
Yeah, but how much of that? Again, how much of that's real? Do we actually know? Like, it's an interesting question. How much of that's
the hardest part with social media. It's so hard to believe something when it comes up there. Like, people post so much shit and crap. They're trying to get on the bandwagon, trying to get their own little 5 minutes of fame or whatever. And it just throws the whole thing out of perspective. Like, well, I can't trust what I'm seeing now because you're throwing bullshit up, and this person here might be legit, but it could be bullshit at the same time. It's like, well, where can you go to get something that's actually factual?
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And this is the whole point. It's like, one of the things that I put in the chat the other day, boys, is it smells of a psyop, right? I mean, the key was Bluebeam, right? So what I actually thought I would do too, because it's like, well, actually, so John, what's your interpretation of Bluebeam?
So my understanding of Bluebeam is that it was supposed to be, I guess, a precursor to the New World Order. So that was going back based on information that I read years ago and videos that I'd seen. It was all that sort of merging of all the world currencies and all of these things that they were talking about in the New World Order. And this was supposed to be that psyop that led into that. It was supposed to bring and give, the governments or the shadow government or whoever the ability to initiate martial law, but also implement all these different this legislation and stuff that they could push through Congress at a fast rate.
G'day, Michael. G'day, Mish, as well.
Change everything, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that was my
okay. Good,
but it was supposed to be. Yeah, it was supposed to be. There was talk of holograms and holographic things to do with UFOs and things, and make it about that sort of alien human conflict rather than something else. But yeah, that's my understanding of it.
Good, I like it. Anthony, what's your interpretation of Bluebeam?
Pretty much what John said, man. Like, exactly that. The world order or whatever is going to be, somehow controlling it under the table somehow, but make it all sound like it's the aliens instead of them, basically. To some degree.
So it's interesting with how the zeitgeist is taking us with Bluebeam. Okay, because I would have agreed with you guys, but again, I'm trying to re-engage with UTC. So I'd been a bit of a dog with a bone, as I said. So this is Rational Wiki. So we're not taking anything, but this is actually what it is, right? Project Bluebeam is a conspiracy theory that claims NASA is attempting to implement a new age religion with the Antichrist at its head and start a new world order via a technological simulated second coming. The allegations were presented in 1994 by a Quebec journalist and conspiracy theorist called Serge Monast, and later published in his book Project Bluebeam. Proponents of the theory allege that Monast and another unnamed journalist, who both died of heart attacks in 1996, it's amazing how many people like that do that, right? Were in fact assassinated, and the Canadian government kidnapped Monast's daughter in an effort to dissuade him from investigating Project Bluebeam. It was supposed to be implemented in 1983, good year 83, just quietly, but didn't happen, and then was set for implementation in 95 and 96, but then didn't happen. Finally, Monast thought that Project Bluebeam would be brought to fruition in the year 2000, and, well, you can probably guess the rest, and that's literally what it says here. And then it goes to, has all the hallmarks of a conspiracy theory, but look, let's face it, conspiracy theorists are up about 150 to 1 or something, or 0 at the moment. So, we don't take anything we take all that with a grain of salt these days, definitely. So I don't see the religious context, right? But I wonder, part of the modern time is that the religious context has, religion's lost its hold in a lot of ways. Right, mainly due to the nature of what particularly the Catholic Church has done to children. You know what I mean? Like, that's we're on Facebook Live. We've got to be careful how we word these things. However, we all know what we're talking about, right? So religion has really lost its hold. Science has become the new religion. Science was a religion during COVID, which we can say now without being kicked off, which is, again, we're up about 150-0. It's technology and science that is the new religion. Do we think this is a precursor to Bluebeam? Because the reality is too, boys, all the people that I've listened to, no one really knows. And that's probably the thing that concerns me the most, right? Look, Bluebeam could be sci-fi nonsense. You're absolutely right, Mr. Chandler. Capital. What do we say? It's not capitalism. It's capital ommunism. Capital ommunism.
Yeah, that sounds more right.
Right? It's capitalism and totalitarianism and communism all wound into a dirty little ball. Do we think it's a precursor for Project Bluebeam? Because the reality is no one knows, boys. What do we think?
That's it. Yeah. No one knows. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's like Misha says, someone knows, but we definitely don't know. And
we're
not going to find out anytime soon.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you boys saw Trump. Came and said the defense knows. They know where they're going. They know where they're coming from. And then he got asked if he was read into it, and he declined to comment. So, I mean,
raise a lot of questions. I'd just like to go and put up Michael's comment there. Sorry, I got a bit of disagreement with that one there. Phones are great these days, but they're still not very good for nighttime quality filming. So
the digital zoom, especially in nighttime, is the issue. That's what I've seen over this, right?
Yeah.
Because all I'm seeing is flashing lights in the sky with all of these videos, right? I'm not seeing anything. I've gone to the school of encounters down under, nothing's a UFO as well anymore. However, I do think a percentage of those due to. So here's a question then for you, Anthony, a little bit off topic, but not.
Yeah.
Because of the very problem that we have with digital zoom, because of the very problem we have with the recording quality of these videos at distance and height, it seems to be as well. Of all the ones you've debunked, do you reckon maybe some of them were something, or you're pretty confident in your debunking skills? Because I was wondering that myself.
Yeah. Look, I would say maybe 1 or 2% of the footage I've seen is probably something potential. But everything else has been, because of lack of information, they're trying to tell me something there, and I'm trying to say, look, it doesn't look like that. You're trying to tell me it doesn't look like that. Because a lot of people, they think that when they see like a orb in the sky, right, the autofocus goes in and out and it's trying to focus on something, but it can't pick up that light in the sky. So it looks like a big ass donut in the sky and it goes all fuzzy and does its thing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Depending on what you look at too, like if it's a star or a plane, depending if it's a star, that's gonna be all twinkly and flickery and changing colors and whatnot.
A star. I've got a actually, hang on, let me find something while you're talking. Keep going.
Where if it's like a a man-made light as such, it's quite pure. It might have a little bit of distortion to it, but it's a bit more pure because there's not as much distortion from any atmosphere and such like that. So then on top of that too, they'll be trying to film this thing there, and they're saying it's zigzagging around or wobbling or changing directions and whatnot. But people don't understand. Like when you hold the camera there, your hands move. You can't hold your hands still. So any slightest movement in the way you're trying to focus, and you got also the camera's stabilization trying to work against you at the same time. It just all works in effect and makes it look very unconvincing. But to them, when they go and check the footage afterwards, they go, "Oh wow, this thing's moving all over the place. It didn't look like that when we were looking at it, but when we checked the footage, it was doing all this amazing stuff." And it's like, no, it's an illusion of the camera.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily doing the stuff you think it was doing.
That's right. And they'll argue black and blue, go, "No, I saw it do that." And it's like, I'm sorry, but like your footage here is not convincing enough to tell me otherwise. And I can't agree with you or disagree with you on some of what you saw. Like it could have been potentially something there, but I can't say it was, that amazing alien craft that everyone wants to try and claim it is.
Yes, I understand. No, I totally understand. I thought, here we go. I found it. Look at that. I've got to make up my abilities now that I messed up made us half an hour late, and I'm not actually using my gear. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on from that. I'll try and move on from that. Right. Can I share, mate? Is that okay?
Yeah, go share screen. Yep, and then I'll throw it on there.
Yeah. So, just so we get an understanding, so I've got I think it's a 400 millimeter telescope. Well, actually, you've used it, Anthony. The one that I took out. Yeah, it's a good little scope, and we can basically take photos of it, right? So, one of the little while ago, this is Venus at its when it was closest to Earth a couple of years ago, right? And that's using my digital SLR on the best zoom that it's got through the telescope. That is Venus. Now it's very cool. Look at the refraction in the rainbow. Look, it's amazing, right?
It's good.
However, that's what that planet looks like through a lens. You know what I mean? So that's the, and that's one of the classic, oh no, you didn't see a UFO, you saw Venus, right? It's not. So yeah, it's interesting that because with the advent of and the intrusion of AI into everything that we do, we have to then think about what is the quality of the pictures and what's the true quality that we're thinking about. You know what I mean? So I just thought I'd bring this up with Venus. It's very cool, but that's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
You know what's cool?
I've got one here to show you as well. So
yeah, I'll stop share this, mate.
When you're ready. That's right. All right, we'll good that one out, and then I'll do this one here if I can get. Oh, hang on, wrong buttons. That one. Here we go. Right. So now we've all seen, stars on the horizon and such, like Venus, etc. But
Michael, we'll come back to that, mate. Just let Anthony show us what he's showing us, and then we'll come back to that.
So everyone's not really aware of the Sirius star. A lot of us will be, but the Sirius star is our most Sirius or Sirius, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's actually our brightest star compared to what, like in terms of like the night sky, not our sun star, like an actual star in the sky. So this is actually the brightest star in the sky. Now, when it's along the
navigation, Sirius is the navigational marker as well for a lot of people, a lot of cultures. Yeah.
When it's low on the horizon, you've even got Canopus a little bit along the way too. It's very similar to the Sirius star or Sirius, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I'm triggering you, I know.
It's whatever you want to do, man. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go through it. When it's low on the horizon, all stars will do it, and they blink to the shit house. They're all blinkies, all blinky bills. So this is a good example of when someone takes a photo of it. Now this is actually with a 600mm camera, zoomed in and slightly out of focus, and this is what it looks like. I'll play it. Now this guy's trying to claim it's not a drone, not a UAP, and that's pretty much what you're going to capture with the Sirius star. You can do that even with your own phone cameras. Like you can zoom up on that, and you'll get that same effect.
Yeah. And the thing is, it does look like flashing light in this thing. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But look, I think all we're trying to do here, guys, is just put a bit of a perspective on what we're looking at with cameras, right? If we get back to the situation at hand, I think what Michael's saying there is many people with great cameras and night vision, there seems to be interference. I have heard that on multiple occasions through multiple sources as well. Like we said, I have heard of people flying drones up into these drones and having interference, right? There's something is interfering with the drone when it gets close. Reminded me of our experience down south, John. You know what I mean? With the black helicopter. That took drone footage out of my little drone. Okay. Okay, so are they us? Are they not? Where are we at? Let's come back to the present, right? So obviously something's going on. We can get stuck in intricacies for all night. However, what do we think? Because the reality is no one's saying what it is. So it's like we have to draw a long bow. So what's on the table, boys? What do we think it is?
I'm going to say some of them, in my view, are clearly drones. I think that the flashing lights are a bit of a giveaway, considering that you've got green and red flashing lights generally in the areas where the props are.
There's human aviation characteristics to a lot of the stuff that we see. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. However, on that as well, there have been, and look, I'm just going off what I've seen, and this has been shared on Facebook and social media everywhere. But there have been drones that have, or one particular video where a drone has flown into an orb and then it's dropped and hit the ground.
Yeah, I saw that. That would be in the chat. That'd be in the chat.
Yeah, it's in the group
chat, Anthony. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And where are we?
Yeah.
There's also.
Sorry. Our chat. Yeah. Sorry. I will get.
Yeah. There's also a video that was posted today. I think Triffin, you posted it, of the UFO morphing. And when I looked at it, I went, "That's not morphing; it's just rotating." And it was just the way that it was being filmed. That was the impression that I got. That's just a drone and it's rotating, and it looks like it's changing.
It was very not very convincing drone though. Like, I was trying to work out what kind of shape of this drone was for it to be going. Like I was still like, I'm agreeing with you. Like it's the perspective on its angles and dangles and whatnots, but like for it to be doing something like that's the weird part. I couldn't work out what the hell kind of a drone is that.
So this is the thing, right? So this is the thing. Okay, so what about? I mean, the other one. Well, and Mish, it's not only New Jersey, right? So, and look, Michael's talking about there's multiple different things. It seems to be Arizona, it seems to be, but then I saw some stuff out of the UK as well. I saw some stuff out of South America as well. When I manipulated the algorithm, which is always good fun, trying to manipulate the algorithm to see what it'll spit at you. It's not just America. I think Iran. Well, the thing is, we talk about orbs and balls, right? In the Middle East, there's the best of that, the silver ball, that supposedly turned up at Heathrow Airport the other week, right? Are we dealing with both, right? I mean, that might be a drone too, but what kind of drone is that as well?
Yeah,
sure, it's just rotating. Right? It might be a rotating mechanical piece of equipment. What is that?
Like, what the fuck is it?
You know what I mean? Like that's pretty clear video for what we've got. You know what I mean? That's not bad as far as what we've been talking about.
Or is it a bunch of mylar balloons that's been tied together and it's just rotating in the wind?
Well, that's a bit of a stretch with that one.
It could be like a bunch of numbers and something wiggly up together. I don't know.
I have to say, I have seen a black balloon that I followed for a little while when I was driving once. It was only because I got up close to it that I realized it was a balloon, but I was convinced for about probably 5 minutes that it was a UFO because of the way it was acting and the way it was moving across the sky. And then I realized, it's just moving with the wind. But I think it's
we've all fallen for something. The thing is, you want to believe.
Oh,
yeah. Absolutely, you do.
Look, the thing about, what we're seeing here too, and just by the way, thanks very much for everyone joining us tonight. And we can see we've got some people from around the globe, which is very cool. So thank you very much for that. Detroit had some as well. I saw some in Arizona. It's like this is happening simultaneously everywhere, right? But the other fascinating thing, and obviously due to what's happened in the last few years, I mean, not much has happened. It's been pretty quiet, really. The control that the corporate media has. Because, you know, let me go to news.com and see whether it's there. I bet you it's not. You know what I mean? Like if I went to news.com now, I bet you it's not even anywhere near it, right? But technically, this is happening all the time in multiple countries. But the thing that Ryan Graves said as well is that this is like the 4th year in a row that something like this has happened. But it happened over military bases. So, you know, we go back to Project Bluebeam. What is going on, right? I mean, the other question is there truth to them coming out of the ocean? That's another good question. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, right? If they are drones, you know, I don't know. Like, but then, okay, let's pretend for a second that it's not the ocean people coming out of the ocean and showing us something, right? Let's pretend that it is drones, that it is US drones, right? Yes, Michael, that was on my list for later. Yes, Michael, that was on my list for later, right? So let's just stick with the third dimensional narrative for a second here, right? So they are drones being operated by the US military under a black operation. Okay, cool. What are they looking for? It's not weapons of mass destruction. They've already said that. So if they're not trying to sniff a nuke out, which that was one of the videos that went viral. If they're not trying to sniff a nuke out, they're not trying to find someone, then what are they doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Because if it's not weapon, if it's not that, then what is it? What is it?
You've also got the videos.
This is the thing. Are they chasing the orbs, right? Are they chasing the orbs? That's another different question, right?
Or are they trying to draw them out? It could be a way to, because we've seen them, like the orbs appear when the drones are around.
Yes.
Maybe they're trying to draw them out to try and get them to react or do something. Maybe they're trying to see how they react.
Okay, but all right then, cool. Who is doing it?
We don't know. This is the thing. Nobody knows.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So, those of us, sorry, mate, I don't want to interrupt you.
No.
So the other thought that I had, gentlemen, was, those of us in the know that 2 days before 9/11, they said, we accidentally lost $2.3 trillion. You know what I mean? Because, it's under the couch over there. You know what I mean? Like, how do you lose $2 trillion? And basically through Senator Tim Burchett, he's part of the UAP committee. But one of the other things he's been going on about is that they haven't passed an audit for the last 12 years or whatever it is. And it's trillions of dollars have gone missing, right? Understanding that $1 trillion is 1,000 billion, boys, right? So what if there is, the deep state exists in some point. I don't think anyone could argue against that these days. What if it's the deep state? Just out of curiosity. I think you might still be. Are you still sharing, Anthony, or no?
Trying to. Yeah, I'm still sharing. I'm just trying to go through and find the other footage here and there as well.
But yeah, I mean, what if it's the deep state trying to make their play? Because obviously they lost.
The topic that comes to mind for this is what Stephen Greer's been saying for what I've been picking up, what he's been saying for the last few weeks. But also back into last year when he was, and this is the episode of the Sean Ryan show that I suggested you guys listen to. Where he was saying,
most of that. I got through most of that.
Yeah, it was very repetitive, and so was the second episode. But the topic that he was talking about is the disclosure that the shadow government or whoever it is are putting forward now. This is what's happening. They've got to a point where they have to release it, or that there's something that's happened, and they've got.
It's reaching critical mass. It's reaching critical mass.
Yeah.
This is the, because so let's say, Anthony, I appreciate that, man. You said 1 or 2% of what you've analysed may not be true, right? Or may be something that you've misidentified.
Yeah,
you've looked at thousands.
Yeah,
right. So if you think about that, that is at least 100 videos you've looked at that were something when you said they weren't, And then you add on to the ones that that me and you we can all agree on are definitely something, right? That means there's how many hundreds of videos, boys, right? So maybe it is reaching critical mass.
Yeah,
absolutely. There's definitely potential there. Someone possibly has captured something that is actually compelling, and probably too scared to go and share it. Due to the fact that the nature of social media, criticize everything that you put out there. But again, like I said before, like so much crap on social media these days, it's hard to believe what's real and what's not. Because like this at that point now, especially with AI and the way graphics are going too, like we're not going to be able to distinguish between real or
that's one of the biggest issues, right?
AI
that's one of the biggest issues. And the thing is, so I mean, Michael in the chat there saying he had an experience, right? Well, Anthony's from Encounters Down Under. I had an experience. I saw a Min light. You know what I mean? We've all seen something.
It's something that triggered us to go and be interested in this.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like we've all had our own personal experiences. We understand that there's something out there. I had an experience when I was 13, and then later in my 30s, I had an experience as well. So it's like, but the reality is too that is if you talk to one-on-one with any pretty much any person, you had a weird experience, you see anything weird in the sky, and since you've been alive, most people will say, yeah, I have. Now it could be Venus and all the things we've already spoken about. However, there's definitely something to this, right? So I mean, we got plenty of comments tonight. I love that, but it's hard to keep up with them.
It is actually.
So it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great. I just wanted to come back to what Michael was saying, or someone said there, the NHI.
This one here?
NHI addenda refers to the diversity of life and sentience. This is despite any black expenditure, the constant in first person accounts. Yeah, so the orbs are non-human intelligence or ultra-terrestrials, or whichever way we want to put it, right? Are these drones those, or these drones? Because I mean, I wondered as well, boys, did they crack anti-gravity? I wonder whether they cracked it in the 2000s. I wonder.
Well, I think they've cracked it in the 40s or 50s. I was going to say, they have that advertisement.
You want it. People want us to stay on track, and we're going back to Otis Carr in the 1950s. We could go there though. Like, look,
we've done it before.
In the back catalogs of Unlocking the Code, there's 3 or 4 episodes on Otis Carr and the fact that he made anti-gravity, the XTC-1 in the 50s, right? And I've actually got the blueprints on this computer here somewhere for that very thing. However, what if? So let's pretend they didn't crack it in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
Or they did, but they put it away. Or Otis never told anyone what the Utrons were made out of, which I'm pretty sure they were made out of magnetite. But that's for another time. What if they cracked anti-gravity in the 2000s? I mean, because you know what? Some of the stuff that I've seen with the orbs in the triangles and stuff like that, it's the X3B. That's what it reminds me of, right? You know, the Lockheed
TR3B?
TR3B. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one. You should bring up the TR3B because that's, I think that has to be in the conversation. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah.
I wonder, outside of the ultra-terrestrial and non-human intelligence, how far have we truly come? You know what I mean? Like, you don't lose, $5 trillion down the bloody rabbit hole, like, what have they spent that money on? Because if you think about Elizondo, you think about Greer. I found it fascinating, John, that Greer said that Elizondo was misinformation. I found that fascinating.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I think there's always been, I wouldn't say a rivalry between them, but I can see it from both sides. I mean, obviously we try to look at everything from both sides anyway, but if you look at
2 seconds, man. Hey, Michael, thanks very much, mate. We appreciate your comments. It's 4:30 in the morning where he is, so we appreciate you jumping on and subscribing, and that's really awesome, man. Yeah, check out EDU and UTC. That'd be awesome, guys. We really appreciate that. So yeah,
Thanks
take
again,
care.
Cheers, mate.
Take care over there, man. Take care, eh? We do
Thanks,
live in
mate.
weird times, man. We do live in weird times. So sorry, boys. We're talking about the TR3B and how far do you think we've really come?
Yeah. So what I was just saying, that obviously we're just quickly chatting about the rivalry between, you know.
Oh, that's right, Greer and
Greer and Elizondo. Well, so from
the factions of disclosure. The factions of disclosure is an interesting topic.
Yeah. So all of the stuff, I just look at it. There's two sides. Obviously, there's the national security side of things, which seems to be a major topic, and the only one that is being, well, not the only, sorry, I wouldn't say it's the only one, but it's the only one that's being talked about within Congress at this stage. You know, you've got your David Grush, you've got your David Fravor, Ryan Graves, you know, all the guys that went and did the Senate hearing. You know, Elizondo was in the most recent one. And what Greer is saying is that he is a misinformation operative. So someone who's spreading this stuff, but it's also all that stuff is all based around national security. All right. And keeping everything.
The thing about it, if you go to the Marty Garza stuff through Brothers of the Serpent, the Elizondo family has been part of weird business in the US for a long time. Like Elizondo's father was part of something else. And you know what I mean? Like the Elizondos go back and that's in the depths of the weird stuff in the US.
Yeah. And that's where it draws the question, are they involved in it? And are they actually, you know, specifically or strategically placed to serve a purpose? And that's what I think Greer is sort of trying to alert us to. And then you look at his side of the story, which is like it's got nothing to do with national security. The aliens are not here to hurt us; they're here to help us. Blah blah blah. And
did you check whether Stephen Greer, the JR? So on Spotify, someone check on Spotify, see if you can find Stephen Greer's interview on the JRE feed.
Yep,
he said that you can't.
Actually, he said it got taken down, didn't he?
Yeah, he said it got taken down with the Spotify deal. I'm just curious as to whether that's true or not.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back.
You know, because before these swarms, boys, you know, we were talking about having a discussion, and I think they are swarms, right? I wonder too, just looking at some of the comments as well. Are we looking at two separate things, everybody? Are we looking at orbs as NHI or ultra terrestrial, and we're looking at advanced drones to play with the orbs? You know what I mean? Like what's going on in those two things? But I do think that the factions of disclosure is interesting. I find it fascinating that Joe has said that he doesn't necessarily believe any of the people that he's got in there, and he'll keep having them in there because he's like, it makes sense to me that they would send them to me, so I gave them disinformation. You know what I mean? So it's like, where it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
So
I mean, where do you sit, Anthony? You've been deep in this stuff, man. Where do you sit as far as Greer, and you've been to the conferences, you've been behind the scenes there a little bit for a little while.
Look, I think a lot of people know my thoughts on Greer, and I think he's partially a bit of a fraud in a bit of a sense, mostly because of the monetization side of things. That's what kills any credibility, in my opinion.
But here's an interesting question. Why does that kill credibility? Because me and you would both do podcasting professionally if we were paid to do it. So does that mean we sold out? You know what I mean? If we could make money off these platforms, we would, and do this as a job. Does that mean that we sold out?
But no, not particularly. It's I'm probably just going off the rumor mill here, but it seems like a very strong rumor where, you know, he's actually charging people to go out and do the CE5 thing and go and see things, right? That's the part that annoys me. You're charging people to go in there and potentially see something, which I'm probably
one of the listeners, we got 400 comments, and one of them was about the CE5, and they were basically saying you go and do the CE5, and I think it was up a little bit, but they'd pay to go and see it maybe, and it's just like a blinking light in the sky.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. So it's like he's paid someone to go and fly a drone in the distance there. Go, oh, look, there's one over there, and it just has a big blink, flashy light. That's the part. I don't know how true it is. I'm speculating but that was on the rumor mill, and that was something quite strong. But there is something there. He has got something there where he charges people to go out and do this, and that's where it makes you think, well, you're charging people to go out and see a UFO. That's like going saying, I'm going to go take you out fishing and catch a fish, but you're not going to guarantee to catch a fish.
I mean, if we're having a conversation about the factions of disclosure, we can't leave Knapp and Corbell out of the conversation.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, don't. They're on the thing too. I feel the same thing. They're probably a bit more informed, but I think they're very careful in what they do too.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they released the spaghetti drone. I mean, that one was, I don't know what that was. That was weird. They've released some of the balls as well, like some of the balls going through military bases and stuff like that. They've released probably the best stuff that we've seen, those two guys. And it's interesting, even though Knapp's a journalist, I sort of believe Knapp. Have you guys watched his new Netflix series?
No, I haven't, no.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. He went deep in the paint. I didn't think and I think I put that in the chat. So everyone needs to watch it. And really so basically, long story short, they did catch something coming out of the ocean in the middle of the night at one of these hotspots. And basically they just had cameras going and they didn't even know they'd caught it until they got back and they were reviewing the footage, right? It was 2:00 in the morning. This thing comes up out of the ocean, like the ocean's glows, comes up out of the ocean and then takes off, right? It's like it stabilizes, going from one medium to the other and then goes, you know what I mean? So they did potentially find something, right? But then again, we started this whole conversation 40 minutes ago with the fact that 3 weeks ago, or whatever it is, Congress said that aliens live in the water and no one cares, right? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, and then all of a sudden these drones are here, right? Or these orbs are here, or it's the orbs and the drones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I just want to quickly go back on the again.
Are the orbs drones? Is a good question, Mr. Chandler. It could be two different types of tech or two different things that we're looking at. Why can't it be D or the above? That's the other thing too.
That's it. Yeah.
So back on Greer quickly. Look, he's a perfect middleman to go and give us the real disclosure. Like he's not in a military sort of secretive sort of bloody agreement, whatever. But he's getting informants. They're telling him shit. So instead of like naming names, but go, all right, I know information here. Go and track it down here, here, and here. All right. No one's getting names mentioned. No one's going to know who the hell's. Well, they might eventually figure out who's telling who. But if you lead someone there and they're going to go, right, I can go work on these sections here and on and on and on. It's going to start naming a lot of people down that track there, and then it's like, well, is it true what he's saying about you? And then basically sort of putting the limelight on certain areas, if that makes sense, where they can't go, well, nah, he's all full of shit. So I don't know if that makes sense or not. It sounded good in my head.
Well, it does. The problem with Stephen Greer, right, is that I think he was the first person to sit in front of Congress in 2000 before YouTube.
That's when he was genuine. I feel that's when he was actually genuine.
Yes. And the first Sean Ryan podcast is very interesting. See, I haven't listened because I sort of went off him a bit as well. And at John's suggestion, I went back and I listened to that show. And he definitely had some interesting stuff to say that sounds true. You know what I mean? It sounded true to me, right? So, same with Elizondo, same with Knapp, same with Corbell. I mean, Bob Lazar has not made a cent out of his story. He's been tortured by it, but everyone goes, we don't believe Bob. But he hasn't sold out. You know what I mean? He doesn't. He wants to be left alone. Like he was trying to survive. If you believe his story, and that's Knapp's coming out story as well. We need to remember that as well. Like so, it's like the what I found fascinating with the last congressional hearing is that it didn't have the pomp and the fanfare that the first one did. I didn't watch this one.
No, I didn't.
Right, whereas I watched the other one like 3 times. We did an episode about it. I'm pretty sure.
We did. Yeah.
You go back in the archives. There's an episode us talking about it. Whereas we didn't even watch this one. So I wonder why. Instinctually we didn't watch it. Why? You know what I mean? It's. But then they confirmed that the aliens live under the water, which we already sort of know that.
Well, that's our prediction anyway.
We don't know. No one knows. No. Like this is the whole point. No one actually knows, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think we ever. Yeah, I don't think. So, what are they looking for, boys? What are they doing?
Look, I'd like to think there's a strong evidence on that nuclear theory. Like, you know, if Iran or whatever, whoever's doing something with a mothership out there, I don't know. I'm hearing different things. Iran's got a mothership out in the sea there, sending drones over, trying to inspect the area there. Whether it's like an invasion point or something like that, I don't know. Or there's potential. There was something like some sort of nuclear assets or something that's been shipped and it's been lost, and they're trying to search for it.
Yeah. But why wouldn't they tell us?
Or not, like it well, when you start thinking nuclear, that's everyone thinks, you know, boom.
So the thing is, so I was talking to Daniel Mengel. He was supposed to be next to me actually, but the tech didn't work anyway, so it's not a bad thing. However, he said, but they haven't even bullshitted us. You know what I mean? Like, that's all they do. Like, you think they just stand up and say, "Oh yeah, it's, you know, cows farting or something." You know what I mean? Like we're just trying to
swamp gas,
methane gases. Yeah, swamp gas and mylar balloons. Don't worry about it. But they haven't even done that. Like, they've just left everybody just hanging in the air with this stuff.
They have, yeah. Because I think they're still trying to maybe work it or trying to stop mass panic.
But see, they don't know. Isn't that the scary part?
Yeah.
Like, they don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
That's where I sort of look. If they don't know, that's a massive incompetence to the US government. That's supposed to be the massive world army order. Like, bloody joint. You know?
So something's incurring on their airspace near one of the global hubs for finance and everything else like that, and just doing it at will, right? And if they sent an F-22 up against the Chinese balloon, surely they can send an F-16 up to just give a machine gun squirt to one of these things so they can see what it is. You know, at least, like, what are we doing? You know, like, I've seen a few people shooting at them, though. That's pretty fun. Yeah, I've seen a fair people shooting at them too, which is good. You know, have a crack. It'll be right.
But it's like the worst thing to do. That you're like, you're in a bloody neighborhood.
Yeah, what if it is? What if it is
someone? It's like, fuck.
Yeah. What if it is the aliens from the ocean? Maybe don't annoy them because
next laser beam comes out of nowhere and just disintegrates him. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, well, that answers that question. Yeah. But I mean, do you think I have seen a few videos of them? One falling out of the sky, but then they said that was a plane, but then they said it was
I'm trying to find that one.
It's in the chat as well.
It's in the chat.
I know, but it's because of the layers. I'm trying to go through every single video of like with their little.
It's in the chat. That one.
Is it this one?
Where is it?
No, it's this one. So I've got this one here, right? I'll play through and I'll share it in a sec.
Yeah, share that one, mate.
Now, this one's claiming a mothership in Arizona drops smaller UFOs. So, where are we?
Just while Anthony's teeing that up, Michelle, I really don't know whether it's happening here. Like I said, corporate media has a pretty tight control. But, I mean, on the East Coast here, I don't know where you are, it's been cloudy for days. So,
there was a video. Yeah, I saw this one earlier too. There wasn't a video that we shared today of one apparently in Albury. So that's, look, it could be nothing. There was, I think it's in our chat.
Because I kept, every time I saw a different location, I threw it in there. I started not really looking at what they were.
Yeah.
So this one, to me, my opinion is, I think this one may potentially have been shot out of the sky. And I don't think it's little orbs or any sort of little UFOs falling out. I think this is it disintegrating. It's on fire, it's breaking apart, and goes to shit. That's my opinion.
So is there a shot before that fire? Go back.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's on. It looks like it's on fire and burning out.
But is there a projectile that hits it before it?
No, I don't think there's any real evidence of anything hitting it. So it could have happened prior, or it's just like, you know, lithium batteries, they catch fire.
Yeah,
and the fact that they disappear, they just it's almost like a flare.
Could be.
You could be right there. You could be right there.
But the main object itself, though, disappears or sort of just fades away because of the camera quality. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, if it's burning up and it would lose power, it'd just fall out of the sky. You know what I mean? Like the lights would turn off and it'd just fall out of the sky. Yeah.
Don't know.
But it's a lot of flares, though. It's like, well, whatever it is, it's
definitely letting. Well, I mean, if we are to assume they're quad rotor drones, then
it's gonna go
if the battery lets go, the fan rotor's pushing it down, which is making it shoot out the way it's shooting out, and then it's crashing into the thing. But I mean, that's the other thing too. What are they? A lot of them, I don't think they are quad rotors. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what they are.
Well, they got that helicopter one off. We saw that one. You shared that one not long ago, where almost like he's actually got a half decent image of one of the drones. And it's actually like the helicopter shaped ones. I'll see him flying.
Yes.
It sits in the air for 12 hours apparently. Like, what?
Well, this is the other thing too. Even that's one of the things that Ryan Graves said. He's like, even military drones don't necessarily have that much battery life as well. You know what I mean? Like, that's
considering what yours did when we were in down south here. Yours was up for how long? Yours was what, 10 minutes, and it went through like
15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, 10, 15 minutes is max. Yeah. 10, 15 minutes max.
No, that's DJI, wasn't it?
Yeah, DJI Spark. It's a little bit older, but you know, it's
like they're up to about half an hour now of decent fly time with recording and that. Like, that's pretty decent when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but it's not 12 hours. You know what I mean? It's not doing 15 loops around New Jersey and coming back again. Like, even if it is, the thing, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand. Like, it's a weird one.
Yeah.
We definitely have. We found this one here. I think this is it here.
Yeah, that's the one.
No, that's not.
Have you taken the picture of it?
There
it is. There we go. Just like that, tell me. Yeah.
Take that off. We're gonna get kicked off. No.
Sorry. Different conversation, guys. Different conversation.
This is a different conversation.
This is the shenanigans we get up to in the background.
Yeah. A full day's very serious research ends in we're not going to. Anyway.
It was a good chat with that one though.
It was
great. It was great.
So the worst thing is that I couldn't see the picture that you were sending.
Yeah, you didn't.
I thought you didn't. I was like,
Anthony and Trivan had to explain it to me, and I'm like, Anyway.
Like, are you seeing the same picture I'm looking at here? Like, have you zoomed in? Like, yeah, you're going on like totally on top
in.
Of like,
yeah.
And then I zoomed in and went, "You're an idiot."
Yeah,
look, we can look all day, a good day's research ruined by BBC, I suppose, is probably the only thing we can say.
Yeah.
We were very serious for like 5 hours up to that.
It was a long day.
It was a long day.
Yeah, it was.
So look, you know.
Sorry.
Oh, hang on, is this it? Oh, this might be it. Might have finally found it. Jeez,
Colleen, you're totally correct, right?
What's he got? Where are we, Colleen?
Yeah. Where have we done to identify 100% definitely over certain? We can't. This is the problem, right? I think this is we can't, and the issue is that we need to sit here and be okay with that, but we're not, which is the reason we're sitting here and people are watching us talk about it, because it's like, okay, then, so we don't know, even if it is government drones, advanced tech drones, petrol-powered, battery-powered, or a mix of both. I have heard hybrid ones as well, like they've got a battery, then they've got a gas or a petrol-powered motor that complements the battery, some of these larger ones. What are they doing? And why haven't they told us what they're doing? Right? Like, that's the thing. That's what I don't,
because it's a psyop.
Because it's a psyop. Yeah.
And that's that's what Greer's saying. He said it's a psyop, and it's designed to get us used to the fact that things are going to be flying around in the sky. Maybe could be wrong, but
well, I mean, this is, and look, see, Michelle's saying here,
I'm just ready for that now.
Spiritualist stuff. So I mean, so we talk about the thunderstorm generator, okay, which is the Randall Carlson thing. There's a whole backstory there. We're not going to that tonight. However, I've dug into that again, and basically the thunderstorm generator works, and everyone's has got no problem saying that it works. The problem they have now is, why is it working? right? They're not sure as to why and how it works, but they know that it does work. And basically that's something that you can tack onto the Devara, John, and it takes away all your emissions and gives you some more power, right? It attaches to an internal combustion engine. So, it comes back to the question we had before. Is all this stuff reaching critical mass? Like the amount of alternative energy ideas and potential things you can do is unbelievable now. The ether is undeniable. Harnessing the ether is undeniable. All these anti-gravity, all these videos, is it reaching critical mass? And so now, are they prepping us for next year, right? I would hasten to dip into your memory banks and, what was happening December 2019, right? They had the Agenda 21 meeting discussing what would happen if coronavirus actually come out, and then 2 months later it happened.
Yep.
And now we know that was released to the public, right? That's we can say that now without being kicked off again. So are we being prepped for something like that? Or, and we'll come back to this, is the comment that I wanted to get to. In September, the James Webb Telescope said that it detected something coming our way that was self-correcting, and it was giant. So are they prepping us for the imminent arrival of our star brothers and sisters? You know what I mean? I don't know.
So do any of you guys own one of those Alexa things at all?
No way.
Have you seen the video there of someone going, "Hey Alexa, what is James Webb saying that's coming towards us?" And they go, "Oh yeah, there's a big massive fleet of ships or something like coming at us." I tried that on the Google. Google says nothing. We've just got the asteroid belt with a few bloody asteroids coming at us, and that's it. Like, okay, so why is Alexa saying that, but you're saying that?
I don't know the difference. Alexa is Amazon, isn't it? What's Alexa?
I think it is Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the thing,
And like, if that's the case, then if it is Amazon, what's their agenda in saying like, we've got a whole fleet of aliens coming at us at light speed or whatever,
Yes, that's right. I mean, that was the other thing that we all heard, that there's something coming towards us that's self-correcting. Who knows? It's, look, designated Eastern Seaboard as drone testing envelopes. Look, I think there's another side to this, whereas they're just testing the drones to see whether or not we react. Right? There is a whole psyop part of this, right?
Yeah.
But the orbs and the Tic Tacs, and there's another side to this as well that we can't ignore, right? Those metal balls that look like metal balls. Like I would say, yeah, they look like drones out of Star Wars or something like that.
Yeah, they do.
Balls.
Yeah.
They look to be metal. What are they, right? I mean, Ryan Graves has got multiple reports of the square with the circle in it, right? A clear square with a circle in it, or a circle with a square in it. Okay, I always mess that up. Yeah. That they've had multiple near misses with F-18s, I think, off the East Coast as well, right? So it's like, it's a weird one, boys. It's a weird one.
So Stephen Greer is claiming that the Tic Tacs and those squares and circles are ours.
And that's what I mean. I'm not saying I'm saying they cracked it properly somewhere in the 2000s and have been manufacturing a fleet.
Yep.
Right. If we remember correctly, boys, back in the old studio, I think I made another prediction where one day they're just going to go, "Oh yeah, we've got a fleet of spaceships. Sorry, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, all the things you've heard about the moon are true. There's definitely a base on the moon. Space Force is real, and here's the TR-3B. Here's the TR-3B's daddy because we fixed that 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's I don't know. Because again, how do you lose $5 trillion? I know everyone just doesn't say anything when I say that, but it's $5 trillion. And what could you do with that money? You know what I mean?
Well, this is where it comes to the and this, I think this was, I could be wrong here in what I'm quoting, but I think this is what Stephen Greer alluded to, is that, there are so many government projects and they overquote them deliberately so that they can say, all right, well, this project, say for instance, the the stealth bomber. You know, they say it cost $2 billion to make, when in actual fact it only costs 150 million. So
Yes.
they take the 150 million and then they filter the rest of it back in through another black ops project. So
yeah, a military toilet seat doesn't cost $25,000. That's what they charge, but it doesn't. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost.
Oh yeah, any contractor would know that.
yeah, that's exactly right.
It becomes a going. Oh yeah, credit for the government. Oh yeah, sweet. Let's go on. Yeah.
But then it's also being, you know, how do these big corporate companies like Lockheed, Skunk Works, and all of those guys make so much money? Well, because they're getting paid by the government, or you know, through these projects, and it's going through the back door. There was also, I was listening to something today. You know, they're talking about this money that they've, and this is off topic, not to do with UFOs and stuff. It's more to do with the military and where money's going.
Well, I think this is the way we're going to find out, though, boys. Right? If Tim Burchett and some of these senators have realised that a whole heap of money has been spent where they haven't followed the due process, right? So that's actually how it's going to. I think that's the way in. You know what I mean? Through the bureaucracy, because the Constitution in America still exists, right? So, yeah. Sorry, keep going, mate.
Yeah, I was just going to say. So some of the military stuff that I was listening to, and you know, this was mentioned in the group chat as well, that a lot of the money that's being filtered through to pay for things overseas in the Middle East and other places is now being funneled into Al Qaeda and ISIS and all these other organizations that are.
There's been a lot of stuff on the show.
That is, and that's right. That was that whatever her name was. I listened
Sarah,
to
what's her name? Sarah, what's her name?
So is it Sarah Adams or something? Yeah. Anyway, she was alluding to the fact that So look, there's any number of ways that this money is disappearing. But yeah, and we've all thought that it's definitely being pushed into these black ops projects and dark projects that are being hidden from us.
The other thing that I didn't understand till a little while ago, and this is a Brett Weinstein. Brett Weinstein postulates that one of the reasons physics hasn't come forward in the last little while is that all the best minds have been plucked to go and work on secret project, because he was asked to go and look at something. He's had a few interesting, you know, dude in the corner smoking conversations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that it's and look, Black Ops will still be Black Ops. You are right, Mr. Chandler, for sure. And look, thunderstorm stuff. It's hard to explain the thunderstorm generator quickly, but basically it's using sacred geometry and elemental energy to convert stuff. It's based on a lot of Tesla stuff and sacred geometry stuff. And where's the Pentone tech as well? Yeah, it's all a variation of that. And I think that's the thing too, is that there's so much alternative energy things that are coming up that are actually working, right? There's lots of cool stuff you can do at home with electromagnetics and all that sort of stuff. That it's to the point where they have to let it out, right? But why would they do it in this way, right?
And is that so? I saw something the other day that said that you know, that the Earth only has enough resources, you know, in terms of energy production, fuel, and that kind of stuff to make it another 120 years. Now that could be a number that is blown out of proportion or underestimated, but what Stephen Greer was alluding to was that we don't have that long. We've got less. We've got like 30 years or 20 years or something before we run out of the ability to create energy, you know, electricity, all these kind of things. And we need to move into the next phase where we stop using fossil fuels and we start using energy that's, you know, they're talking about the ether obviously as well, using
they call it something else, but it's
and this is what Tesla was doing. He was harnessing energy from the atmosphere, and they said that, what is it, one coffee cup's full is enough to power the entire US for 10 years or something like that.
Yes,
of what
and
they
the thing
can
is too. The other thing is too is that if you and look, I post a lot of these articles on the Unlocking the Code page when they come up through my feed. Is that cold fusion's back on the agenda? Like all these direct energy, 0 point energies back on the agenda. Like all these things that were poo-pooed as conspiracy theories and FUBAR not that long ago in the recent past in corporate media outlets. They're saying, oh, we're close to cold fusion, we're close to 0 point. They're discussing warp drive and all these sorts of things. Maybe they've made an advancement that they don't want to tell us about that, right? And look, the only thing I would say about the fossil fuel thing, and this is just from my time in oil and gas, albeit that I'm not 25 anymore, so that was a few years ago now, that there was wells that were drilled in the 70s and early 80s that we went back and looked at in the mid to late 2000s, right? Expecting them. So basically they suck all the oil out, they cap it, and they mark where it is, right? And so one of our jobs was to travel around to these different things, check the caps, see what was going on. Most of these wells had filled back up again right to the top.
Yeah.
Right. So, and fossil fuel is not fossil fuel. Like it's hydrocarbon. It's not dinosaur. It's not melted dinosaurs. Like that's a made up term. Like that's a fascinating.
I don't understand how that works either. Where they feel like get all the dinosaurs in the world, just throw them in a pit.
Well, yeah, it's a Rockefeller Rothschild. One of those guys, they invented that. It was a propaganda thing to get the reliance onto oil, right? Because prior to that, and the corticator, hemp was what we were using, but that's a different story again.
Yeah.
But look, the whole scarcity thing. Oh, we're running out of this, we're running out of that. You know that there's like massive warehouses full of pink diamonds and yellow diamonds and all that sort of stuff. But you go to a jewelry shop and they'll say, "Oh, it's the rarest diamond in the world." Yeah, there's only 15 pallets of them in the back of Africa somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's that's all. The gross manipulation of a lot of what we see is hard to understand as well, I think, and that's part of what we're all trying to grasp, isn't it? Like I think one of the biggest issues we're all sort of dealing with is that everything's bullshit.
Yeah, that's where I want to go back onto Michelle's comment here. Like, we're saying that, spiritualists and whatnot, they're all saying, like, we're all coming up to some sort of awakening and ascension. It's like, I'll partly agree with that. Yes, we are sort of becoming more awakened and realizing what the governments are doing and all the bullshit that we've been fed over the years, growing up and whatnot. But at the same time, we're also becoming really stupid in what we're sort of observing and looking at too. You can look at the UFO community, for example. That's like there's a lot of stupid shit there where a lot of people believe everything they see on that. But then there's also conspiracies, like we can go into bloody chemtrails and shit, like it's not. I know it's a thing, but not every single plane you see flying over is spreading a chemtrail. Whereas like, atmospheric temperatures and that doing jet streams and whatnot. So there's a lot of things there that's happening but it just seems like everyone wants to just jump on a conspiracy and think it's a legit thing. So like, we are becoming awake and realizing what government's doing. I don't
want to start a left-handed conversation, but chemtrails are definitely real, dude. HAARP is definitely real.
No, I understand. I didn't deny they happen, but I'm not saying every single plane.
It's not everything. Some of them is definitely jet stream for sure. Yeah. Look,
but that's just an example.
The concentration and how it's changed, is renewable. Look, hydrocarbon tech is interesting, right? You know, one of the epiphanies I had about hydrocarbon tech, so we're talking about oil and gas here, right? And then potentially coal as well. If you zoom out for a second and say that oil and gas is coolant and lubricant, right? Because that's what it is, right? It's an oil, it's a slick, and gas is cold when we pull it out. Then what we've been doing for the last however many years is sucking all the coolant and all the lubricant and the crust of the earth, right? Like, I don't think it's a good thing. I definitely think we need to change tech. But I wonder, going back to this stuff that we're talking about now, if we had followed Tesla, would we even be here? You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. Like, they were working on, anti-gravitic stuff and electromagnetic stuff. I mean, you've got to you've got to Mr. Chandler, yeah.
I've triggered him.
Yeah. So
That's
have
Eddie.
you looked into the thunderstorm generator, Mr. Chandler? Have you looked into that sort of stuff? That's because it's that thunderstorm stuff is not trivial with the amount of testing they've done it. I haven't seen the amount of testing that's been done on internal combustion engines that's been done on that to true. It's way past proof of concept now. They just don't understand how it works. It's again. I'm going to dedicate some time to it. I'm going to pull Grub out of the bush and pull his chain on it and have a conversation with him about it, because he apparently he's built a couple, which doesn't surprise me. But back to what we're doing. What if it's the deep state flexing their muscle, because they were obviously tied into the agenda that was tied to the recent political, Trump winning, right? Unequivocally, those, the WF and all that sort of stuff are tied to the left. And what if the deep state's been developing this technology, and this is a show of that technology for some reason? But then you go to why? What's the reason? You know what I mean? Don't everyone talk at once.
I'm thinking.
Sorry,
I'm trying
to deal with Wayne's thing here in the chat.
Yeah. So if you think about the New World Order, Project Bluebeam, all that kind of stuff, there were certain dates that were put down, or I can't remember.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think I said 96, and then it was 2000, and then it was this, then it was that.
But there was something that said 2025 to 2027 was when.
Well, you've got to throw Agenda 2030 onto the table as well, don't you?
Correct, exactly, and it's only 5 years away. So this could just be the start of this whole thing being rolled out. COVID could have been a tester to see how we'd react to certain things.
COVID was definitely data collection for sure.
Yeah. Yep. And based on how we are currently, there's videos that we've shared, of how we're reacting to, the UFOs are here. So, there's, it's that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously some people are sort of freaking out about things, but I think the majority of us are like, finally, come on, hurry up, do something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. give us something awesome. Yeah.
See how far you can push us.
Yeah.
So,
but we'll never have a repeat of COVID ever again. I don't think. That's where it sort of drew the line there. They pushed us into a corner, and then obviously all conspiracies and evidence started coming out, and that's where everyone's like, "Nah, fuck you." That's not happening again. That's where they started losing control.
Yeah,
because we started realizing we're getting fucked over here.
Yes, and look,
that's where I think we did sort of awaken. That's where we all started realizing, hey, what's going on here?
You go. I was just going to say, there's different forms of awakening. You look at the spiritual side of things, and becoming aware of different
sides of self and
sides of that kind of stuff,
spirituality, that sort of stuff.
But there's also the awakening of we're actually waking up from the coma that we've been in for the last 30 years, and we're going, maybe they are bullshitting us. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, well, I think they are. It's not a question.
No, that's right. Yeah,
that's what I was saying before. We are waking up, but we're also becoming a little bit dumb too, because we're getting too drawn into some things that are a little bit
keeping up with the Kardashians.
I think that's true. Yeah, I was having a chat to someone about this the other day, right? Because the problem is with even this drone swarm, are the orbs, the UAPs, all these sorts of stuff, right? It's hard to say, but the one of the deeper issues that we're all dealing with coming to the end of 2024 is that everything's bullshit, right? Now, that can either go two ways for you personally. You can either that can set you free right? Because you can go, okay, well, if everything's bullshit, that means I am my own creator and I can do whatever I want to a certain degree. Or it can scare the crap out of you because every single belief system, every single thing that you've ever done is bullshit. So,
yeah. That's where religions will be going, oh shit.
Yep. Uh-oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, okay, let's steer onto that then. I wanted to talk to you boys about that.
Yep.
The classic, we can't be told truly about the aliens in the ocean because of the religious connotations and the fact that we couldn't deal with it. Now, taking into account that not only are we in our own little bubble in the groups that we hang out in, but we're now in a larger bubble with the awesome people that are taking the time to listen tonight.
Yep.
Obviously, all of us here would be like, yes, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I think I posted a meme the other day. The aliens are going to be super confused when they turn up to overthrow leaders and we're all stoked to help. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, let's go. Yeah. What do we need to do? You know?
Yeah.
Let's get after it, you know? Yeah. But do you think, let's use the term people woke up during COVID. I hate that term's obviously got connotation, but you know, we awakened.
We awakened.
Awakened to the level of crap during that time. Do we think if there is ultra-terrestrials or non-human intelligence or extraterrestrials or interdimensionals, depending which way you go, do you think the population at large could deal with that or not?
Yes, I do. I think it's going to be a 50-50. That's my view, is that I think that the majority of people are capable and have enough what's the word?
Cognitive ability, critical thinking.
to accept it, but they're also resilient enough to the change that I think would come. But I think you're still going to get you're still going to get the fundamentalists and the, you know, the non-believers that are going to freak out. I think that's just you know, my view. But I think it's kind of difficult because it's kind of like, if we were to try to help them to understand, are we then doing what they tried to do to us when they were trying to get us to follow their religion? Are we not doing the same thing to them, kind of thing? You know what I mean? That's
and I'm going to use that as myself as a bit of an example here, where, you know, you're trying to do critical analysis and explanations on what potential UFOs are, and you know, you get the people start abusing you, going, you don't know what you're fucking talking about, you're an idiot, you don't know shit. And that's where, like, you know, where we're trying to say, like, you know, keep using critical thinking, being analytical on what you see, what you perceive, even on social medias. Don't believe everything you see on social medias. But everyone looks at you now like you're the idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, because you're like, hey, whoa, just take a step back here. Like, let's just like really look at the bigger picture here. Don't just go and diving in, going, oh yes, it's definitely bloody aliens and whatnot. It's like, and that's where you're saying, like, you know, where we might eventually become those religion leaders trying to push your agenda. It's like, we're not trying to push an agenda here. We're just trying to make
asking questions.
Awareness, you know?
Asking questions is honestly what we're trying to do, is just ask questions. I mean, you know, the one thing that we've said here, and I've said on UTC for years now, is don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It's just an opinion. You know, like, I was actually reminded, because obviously before the drone stuff, we wanted to talk about Graham's Ancient Apocalypse as well. Tonight, we might get to that today. That's part of UTC. I like the megalithic stuff and all that. I was reminded and reminded myself that all the research on that too, we're all drawing from the same pool of data. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how deep in the research you are, you're all drawing from the same pool of data. And the reality is we don't know. We don't actually know, right? It's, you know, it's
And it's
I was trying
a
to
lot of
it's thing here.
A lot of it's just on how we interpret it as well.
It's, and I think it's so, Mr. Chan, when we talk about empirical data, are we talking about the empirical data that said something was safe and effective? Because that's always bullshit. You know what I mean? The problem with a lot of supposed experts and empirical data is, you know, follow the money. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we just spoke about, the money earlier. Why isn't this stuff coming out? Maybe Lockheed's got a stranglehold on it, or Boeing. You know, there was a story that Boeing was trying to employ a Russian anti-gravity scientist and all this sort of stuff. Like, you know, what's empirical data and what's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's empirical data is that gets out to the public is the one that's been paid for, or what? You know what I mean? Like, we've seen that time and time and time and time again, which again makes it harder to grasp what is real and what's not. You know.
And can I just say, I'm just looking at the comment about what SARS was predicted to be. It was SARS. It was AIDS. It was bird flu. It was swine flu.
They just got one to stick. They just got one to stick. Is all that happened. Yeah. What happened to the murder hornets? What happened? We missed the murder hornets, man. They were pretty cool.
Where was that one at? I remember something about.
Probably killed them all.
Yeah, that was during the chaos. Yeah, the next big thing was
in Asia, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, now they're turning them in. Now they're little drones.
Yeah,
they've got those little drones. The ones that are about this big.
Yeah.
So I've got the footage here. So we'll go back to these drones that we're supposed to be talking about. Anyway.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Future Turtle. We'll go to the drones. I agree with that. Right. I agree with that.
Throw that up there.
Look, the fact that Trump is the bastion for the free world is one of the craziest things. If you told me that 15 years ago, I would have said, what? However, it's where we are. But it's more about who he's got behind him this time. It's Tulsi, it's RFK, it's these guys that are behind him. And I do think, RFK is open to the UAP stuff if we can bring it back, right? These people that are going in there are curious and open to that. And if you think Tim Burchett is the Republican senator, Republicans have control of everything now, the House, the Senate, the whole box and dice, right? So, there's a lot more control that can be pushed through, or, questions that can be pushed through if needed. What do you got for us, mate? Give us some drones.
On that though, with the Republicans being able to go into the House and whatnot and ask these questions, everyone's still going to be going behind a skiff regardless. We will never get to know the actual answers.
That's the problem. But I think as humans, we deserve. Do you know what they said on the JRE with what's her name? The fighter pilot. What's his name?
Grush.
You know him. No, not Grush.
Ryan Graves.
Ryan Graves. They said that the reason that we need to know this stuff is that it's a human problem. This is human information. If we've got non-human intelligence and we've got ultra-terrestrials and all that sort of stuff, that is actually going on in whatever form that it is, whether it be interdimensional or D or the above. That's something that as humans we deserve to know. This is a human thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's got nothing to do with countries or lines or anything else like that. This is a human thing because the reality is it is happening all over the globe. How do we get? I want to see Wayne's video. There's a UFO.
I'm trying to find it. I can't find anything. But yeah, on that too, like that's where my argument has been too, like where Australia don't give a fuck, UK don't give a fuck, the rest of the world don't give an absolute damn fuck about what the hell the America's going on about with these Congress meetings with the UFOs and UAPs and shit. Like I said,
but is that corporate controlled media? You think, Anthony, or
I think it's a hard one to say.
Or do you think it's the mentality of Aussies and UKs, the mentality of Aussies and Poms and all that sort of thing? We are there's the whole tall poppy thing and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah,
I suppose.
I know. And that's where that stupid show, The Project, ruins a lot of it too. Like they try to put too much humor into shit and it just fucks it all. But they're the only ones that covered the Congress meeting, the recent one. And they just made a big piss and moan about it. There's a couple of people there that they're actually pretty serious about it. But then there's got the other comedians there who they want to be funny instead of being actual, legit. So they took the piss out of it. These guys like, no, this is actually something. This is they're like, no, this is something here, man. Like, I know you're laughing about it, but like, no, this needs to be actually taken serious.
Well, it speaks to the propaganda that we've all been under for the last 70 years, realistically. But and this is the other thing too. You can't get into this conversation without saying it's not just a post-World War II thing. It goes back hundreds of years, right? And the other thing is too, and this Angus was supposed to join us tonight, but he got double booked as well. However, he was saying that a lot of these reports in like the ancient Chinese and Asian documentation, all that sort of stuff, these things in the sky mimicked the technology of the time, right? So it's like they were seen as airships, they were seen as balloons, they were seen as this, they were seen as that. You know, it's are these drones, let's pretend for a second they are NHI or ultra terrestrial, right? Are these drones mimicking technology of our time? That's an interesting question, because that is, if you go back in the records for hundreds, if not thousands of years, that's what they would do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's all the way down to so we're trying to figure out what this video is there, Wayne. We really want to see this video. That UFO drifted all the way down to where the big wheel is on Diamond Road, Melbourne. We need you to send a link there, please, mate, or at least give us like the headline of what it's actually called.
If you've got the window, if you've got it up on your YouTube, Wayne, just copy the link and post it in this chat. Yeah, Burning Shields. Yeah, Future Turtle. Yeah, Mr. Chandler, we're having two conversations. Yeah, the immunology and epidemiology of things that are going on at the moment. I'll take the plus 40,000 deaths here in Australia alone since 2021 as enough evidence to go with something else. But that's we're having two separate conversations at once.
Yeah, we are. All right. So should we get back on the drone videos that we were talking about earlier?
Show some drone videos, mate. Show me some drones.
Let's get into it. So right, should we go that way? Which one works better, that one or that one? Anyway, let's get into it. So this is the drone that's flying into it. We'll see in a sec.
Oh, this is the orb that, and it hits it and it goes.
So,
yes.
Yeah. And then whatever the hell that is.
What is that and what is that?
Let's go near it.
And
goes near it. Up it or
there it goes.
There it goes.
Yeah, right.
So is this what we're talking about when we say this could be a hobbyist drone that's been sent up to look at one of these other drones?
I reckon so. Because is that another drone behind it, or what the hell is that other one?
Well, that's I think
there's another one behind it there as well. And again, this is Phoenix, Arizona, so it's like when you say they're coming off the ocean, Arizona's a little bit far away from the ocean. You know what I mean? Like that's a bit of a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
So I want to know: did this guy record on his way to this object, and then it's interfered with it and just dropped it? And is that footage still in there? I want this guy to come out and go, "Hey, that was my drone that fell out of the sky," and give us a rundown of what actually happened.
Why? Yeah, where's his video? Yeah, where's his video? Right?
Yeah.
So we got just curiously, we got some people saying down just in the chat here that there's some stuff happening around Melbourne, because that's Fern Tree Gullies around Melbourne as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's where I was.
Yeah, right. I'm a Ballarat boy, mate.
Hey.
Yeah, once upon a time. I probably should have said that on Facebook Live, should I?
I know. Yeah. They're going to judge us now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's curious, right? It's curious. So, I mean, where do we sit? We didn't get a yes or no, just while Anthony's having a look for this. Do we think it's the deep state acting out? Because, I mean, no. Yes, no, maybe so.
I don't know. I'm not convinced. Look, I think it could be. I think there's a couple of scenarios. It could be a test. Like a couple of people said in the chat, it could be a test of this new drone technology. The orbs, I don't know. Could be something else.
I think this is it here.
2016.
Oh, wow.
I would like to feel that if it's something sitting there for that long, that large, a lot of people would have seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
But it is Melbourne. If we talk about corporate controlled stuff.
But also to say that too, like the drone pilot would have seen that and go, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
So I'm sort of on the verge of going, "Sorry, this isn't real."
It's interesting.
Like,
interesting.
Straight away, things aren't adding up.
How many? It looks like a disc on its side, potentially.
Yeah, that looks very After Effecty sort of pixelations going on.
The fact that the top's flashing in and out as well is.
What's that? This is different stuff.
Oh, sorry. It's going off topic on its own little thing.
Let it play. Let it play. What's that? We'll look at those orbs there. Yeah, Mr. Chandler, look me up, man. I think we could have a cool conversation. Look me up behind the scenes. We'll have a chat because I think we can't start multiple conversations at once. For him or for me or for both of us?
Oh, I think it's going to be good. I think you'd be going double Joe Rogan with you guys going at it. Sounds of it. I think what's our longest we've gone, like, what, 4 hours? I think is our longest.
4 hours, yeah. I think we're 4 hours in. We did 4. We've done a 4.
Yeah.
The reason we started at 6:30 Queensland time is because we're probably going to go 3 again at least.
At least. It's already halfway there.
Can we go? What was the orbs after that?
Yeah, here's this one.
Because I mean, this is the stuff that interests me. Like, I've seen a lot of these variations that I can't dismiss easily.
Yeah, like they're not flares. I don't know what they are.
No,
it's flares drop, and these guys are.
Is that still Victoria? Though? Is that?
No, I think this is.
That looks like the US.
Yeah, it does look USy. So I don't know why. Oh, it says and more. So
yeah, it doesn't tell us. But see, I mean, here's some of these orbs or these balls of light converging, right? And yeah, see, 2 are taken off. And what gets me with some of this stuff, boys, is the formation flying. You know what I mean? That's some of the observables you got to look for.
Yeah. Anthony, I can't remember if I mentioned it when I chatted to you in your show, but I've seen a couple of lights in formation as well, and that's very similar to what I saw.
Yeah, right. Was that down in New South Wales, down that area?
Yeah, it was down where I am. Yeah. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of stuff.
So this is the example I was saying. Like, now when you're holding a camera here, people think the object's zigzagging around, but it's actually your hand.
Yeah.
Zigzagging around. But you can.
Yeah, right.
Because now you got something there to actually work on. Like, you got these beams here, the buildings, and structures. You can actually see it is actually moving, but it's a straight line.
So Wayne's saying, he goes, I seen it. It drifted through Melbourne. I saw it when it got to the big wheel, looked up to see that myself, 300-foot UFO. Someone should have more videos on that.
You saw that.
You saw that. Yeah, right. Wow. Okay.
So I'm going to have to ask a question here. Like, well, where's your side of the footage here? Like, how long was it there for? Where's the more detail? This is where, things get left out and going, hey, I saw this.
This is the critical analysis side of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, we need to understand how long was it there for? What direction was it come from, sort of thing? How large is this thing in perspective to everything else? Because, like, right now, that thing looks like it's on par with, like, one of these buildings.
Those buildings. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
this thing's massive.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's behind the buildings here or just in front, it's massive. Footage from a helipad.
Footage from a helipad. Okay. This is a drone. This isn't a hell. This is
a drone.
This is 2016 though. Drones weren't really around that much back then.
Well, that's true. That is true.
I think it was just starting to break out though.
Yeah.
Like the DJI quadcopter.
Yeah, I think it was. I'll be able to check that now.
That's interesting, right? And look, I think Mr. Chandler's saying deep state. It's just deep state is we have all these place names and these face noises for this stuff that I don't think we necessarily understand what we're talking about. I mean, I would say deep state. I mean, Luis Elizondo says the other terminology is the breakaway civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's another terminology that gets thrown around a little bit. And again, I think and me and Anthony have had this conversation as well, is that we get stuck in the intricacies and the technicalities, right? It's like, yes, but at the same time, we need to know this as much empirical data as we can. But the larger picture is pretty obvious. You know what I mean? There is something that exists that's stealing all our money, that's using it for something. Joe Biden hasn't been at the wheel in the US for I don't know how many years now, and who's been running the US, right? It's the system behind the system behind the system, and it's hard not to join. How many coincidences and how many coincidi do we get? A lot of these alternative energy people, they crash into a tree. You know what I mean? It's one tree in a 5-kilometer radius. They smash right into it. You know what I mean? Like it's uncanny. Or they shoot themselves in the back of the head twice just in case. You know what I mean? Like that's seems to be what happens to these people. There does seem to be a bit of a line of nefarious nature that is associated with the UAP phenomenon, which they changed that again, boys. That's unidentified anomalous phenomena. It's got nothing to do with aerial anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because the aliens are in the ocean.
Yeah,
that's right.
I heard another one the other day. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it's something different again.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll find that and come back to you on that one.
Yeah, that's all good. So I got the other one here where, like, they actually captured the military drones. So I'll throw that up there now. I think that's supposed to go. So this is the actual. Let him go and explain it. Where's the sound gone?
Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah, there.
Boys, give me 30 seconds.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, right.
I'm back. I can't hear anything. Is it just me?
No, I can't either.
You again?
No, it's not just me because
No, there's no sound of the video.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's talking about the single rotor drone stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Triff, I'm just going to send you something in the chat because I just want to ask you a question, but just so you know it's coming.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Are these things mimicking technology or types of technology that we have? You know what I mean? This is a question. Because again, if it's the military, what are they doing and why? And why isn't anyone?
This is where RN80's probably just coming a bit late. They're going through that they're looking for missing nukes, and it's like, we've sort of covered that, and
we heard that
possibility.
That is one possibility. I mean, the Ryan Graves on the GRE did say that he knows the people that look for that, and they haven't said anything to him. But what does that mean? Yeah, we can discuss that.
Yeah.
Do you want to discuss that? We can, John. Yeah.
We
can discuss that. The message you just sent me. We can discuss that.
Yep. The helicopter.
The helicopter, yeah.
Yep. So that's what I recall seeing when we were at the glyphs.
Something very similar to that, but it was all black.
Yeah, it was all black, yep.
So if I actually I can show you that, right?
Show us that. Yeah. Put up some photos.
So just so everyone's aware, Triff and John obviously went down to the Gosford Cliffs there. Was it this year?
Yeah, I'll tell the story, right, for those, because we've got a few people here that haven't heard the story. So basically, we went down to Gosford to have a look at the glyphs, and when we were down there, I was flying my drone. So we were there the day before solstice, and I was just test flying my drone and to see, see what I could see through the canopy. We were trying to make understandings about where we could see the sunrise and stuff like that. There's a whole heap of research that will be coming out on that in the new year. Johnny's a part of that. And so basically, I'd sent the drone up once or twice before, hadn't I, mate?
Yeah, I think it was the second time.
The second time I sent it up, yeah. Second time I sent it up, basically, we heard a helicopter. And John goes, wouldn't it be funny if that was a black helicopter? Now, this is pretty much the chopper we saw, but it didn't have yellow on it. Here, I'm just going to present this. That's pretty much what we saw, right? But it was all black. It did not have any yellow on it. It was black, and it was shut up, and it had black windows. It was black, black, black. And it sounded nasty. And we're like, wow, what is that? I'm trying to bring the drone, because I was up a bit high, right? I would have been up, I don't know, 50, 100 meters. I was just trying to get a 360 view and get an understanding of where the sun was going and stuff like that. And obviously I'm trying to bring the drone down on turbo mode as quickly as I can. And it deleted the video. I was recording a video at the time, and it deleted the video. That video doesn't exist.
Wow.
And so fast forward, we didn't know that at the time, right?
No.
Fast forward, I download the DJI stuff onto my phone. We go out and have some one of the most garlic-filled kebabs I've ever had in my life. Like, the amount of garlic in that kebab was unbelievable. It was, though, John, wasn't it, man? How much garlic
was it? It was a lot of garlic. It was a lot of garlic.
Anyway, we were talking about that, and it's like, oh, imagine if it deleted the video. I'm like, oh, we can see, flick, 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 and it's deleted. What I'll do while we're chatting, I'll find it, and I'll put it in the in the email.
It was freaky. It was.
So, but that's a and yeah. But then what happened later when we went to leave?
Oh, yeah. So we were walking out of the glyph. So we got back to the road where the cars were parked. And there were two guys, very, very much military looking. Where, like, I saw them get out of, they were wearing black jackets and pants. And I saw them get out of their black jackets and pants, put them in their cars, and put on their jogging kit, is all I can put it to be, but gray shirts, typical military looking guys. And we sort of walked towards them. They looked like they eyeballed us and then ran off into the bush and down the track, as if to just, that was
go for a run.
Go for a run while we're, these guys are in there. So two things that happened that were extremely strange over the period of that 3 days that we were there. So yeah, that was pretty freaky. And yeah, the video thing itself, that was so I can't, because the video doesn't exist, I can't share it. Right, but basically there is a video. So there's this 34-second video that is me taking off with the drone, which we can I could put up to the camera there. Okay. There you go. There we are, taking off. And you've probably got it, haven't you, John? I think I'm just going to have a quick here. I've got my files.
That's the 34-second drone. It goes up, and then you can see the very next, if I expand my phone there, that big white middle bit there. It's a bit too blurry, yeah. But basically there's, I can't share it because it doesn't exist. But there's a video missing. I've got 9 videos on my phone, and there's a video. I know what I can do. I know what I can do.
So just a question too, and where those guys doing the jogging there, is this like a typical area where a lot of people would deliberately go jogging? Yeah,
it's a national park. And it's look, we saw probably 4 or 5 people while we're in there. 3, I think, specifically came in looking for the glyphs.
And we saw a mountain biker went straight over the glyphs.
There's a few people around. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, like there's 1,000-year-old inscriptions and some dudes doing a mono over them.
And that was honestly, I was blown away that there was a mountain bike track directly over an Aboriginal artwork, like that's carved into the rock. So I think it was a whale or a crocodile or something like that, that was just walked over. And like, you know, we've got 2-3 Ks down the road. There's another area that's, you know, all the same sort of artwork that's been fenced, or not fenced off. It's been put boardwalks and stuff around it so you can actually look at it and you're not allowed to walk on it. But we're up in the bush, you know, 100 meters, 150, 200 meters from the glyphs, hiking up this trail, and there's this glyph or this picture in the middle of the walking path, and it was just like, what the hell, like,
yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah, there
and
it is.
Then there was mountain. Yeah. So that video there, here's the initial 30-second takeoff video to do checks. That was about a 3 or 4 minute video because I was up there. I ran out of battery, didn't I, John? I was up there. I was turning around. I was trying to get the bearings. And when that helicopter came past, it stole the video. Like whether it jammed it or I don't know what else to say. The video.
So do you think that it was just coincidence that this helicopter was going past at the time there, and it's obviously
no, because
No,
it came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere, and it was. And look, I can neither confirm nor deny, Anthony, that how high I was flying my drone. Okay, I can neither confirm nor deny any such things. So, you know, I don't know whether that attracted it or. I mean, what's a black helicopter doing operating in that area anyway?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is there any military spaces nearby it, or
no? We checked all that.
We looked this up.
Yeah. That was the rabbit hole we went down because it's like, where did the helicopter come from?
That's right. Yep. It literally came out of nowhere, and it was within 30 seconds. I have to say, was it? I think it was 30 seconds.
The drone had been up for a little while. The drone had been up for a few minutes, and I was taking video and looking down on the tree canopy, and we were discussing it. And then we heard the and we're like, that's a bit. And it was low, like it was just above the tree line. We couldn't see them because it was blacked out windows. We couldn't see because of the blacked out windows. But if the windows weren't blacked out, we would have been able to see the pilot for sure.
Yeah,
like that's how close it was.
It was within 100 meters of us. Like we could, and it was directly like it flew and it curved over towards behind us.
Behind us,
It was a deliberate fly past to see what was going on.
Right.
No other action.
So my guess is like that chopper would have been hovering nearby somewhere within a K away or something like that.
You would have to think so. Like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, we like, were they attracted to
pinged up some sort of thing over here? We're gonna go to it and go bang. And
but the thing was too, where I was panning the camera, I definitely got a shot of the helicopter.
Yeah,
that's the other thing too. Like as I was coming down, I went like that with the camera. I'm like, I'm going to try and catch this if I can. And then, the thing is, what everyone needs to understand is that we thought we had good footage, right? We didn't think that. We were joking about it over a garlic kebab. And all the pre-footage that we took to research that night was gone. Like it was like a 7-minute drone video. So, you know, that's just a very minor example of the tech that they do have. And to bring it back to what's going on, there has been more than one story that says that they've tried that these drones are jamming signal. They've tried to interdict them with non-lethal means, and that's not affecting them. So, you know, back to the start, is that an act? Is that an act of war? You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about there? If you are actively jamming someone else's technology, is that not? You know?
Yeah.
So are we talking about
there with his drone?
Yeah, but are we talking about military jamming civilian drones, or are we talking about military jamming military?
Well, from what Ryan Graves said on the JRE yesterday, he said he knows of non-lethal, because obviously they can send an electromagnetic beam at these things. I'm pretty sure now they can send sound waves at them. You know what I mean? Like there's a number of different ways they can try and bring them down. The words that he used, they've tried to use non-lethal means to try and bring these things down. and no, it has had no effect. Therefore, they are jamming the signal.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly like they jammed my drone. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing.
So what's wrong with just getting like, 2 helicopters with a big, large netting of sorts, go and fly directly at it and hope for the best that the netting actually captures it and, hooray,
Look,
we
I'm
fishnet
still
a bloody drone out of the sky.
I'm still a quick squirt with an A10 or an F16. You know what I mean? Like just one that's somewhere.
But also it's over civilian space as well too, though, like stray bullets and such.
And I think that one of the reasons that has been given for them not into using military to intercept is that it is within that civilian airspace. That's the other thing too. And I think there's some bloody bureaucracy or rules that they can't engage at certain altitudes or whatever. You know what I mean?
So then that's where it comes down to, if it is China or someone else trying to spy on America or whatever, they can have their drones flying around, whatever, and they're not going to do shit about it.
Yeah,
because it's civilian areas.
Yeah,
and this is the thing too. Like, I don't know, boys. It's a hard one to try and capture. You know what I mean? And what I find fascinating about all the awesome people in the chat as well, it's like, well, no one's real sure, right? It's like, there's, people are saying all different types of stuff. What do we got here? Give us another video.
So this is where we're talking about, shooting down shit. I don't know how true this is if this is in New Jersey.
If this is,
Oh, hang on, that's the right one. Oh no, that's not.
No, that's the orb one. That's the orb one. There's a couple of ones that are shoot down ones. One of them looks like the drone is shooting, and apparently that's not true. Apparently that's
not true. Okay,
the drone shooting towards the ground apparently is bullshit.
That one's a perfect example of what I was saying before. Human light that looks like that, and then you can even see where navigation lights are. So there's that's the spotlight or landing light, and you'll see 2 little lights on the sides here pop up. This is a perfect example of what cameras do with out of focus.
Yeah.
So, there you go. See it flashing?
Oh, you can see it's flashing. Yeah.
This is where my arguments are.
Oh no, I understand. And the thing is, Anthony, 95, 6, 7% of them are bullshit. You know what I mean? Like that's true. And that's the problem, right? That's the big issue that we're dealing with. And with the whoever this bird is trying to get a reaction out of us, it's not her video. You know what I mean? All these
Oh, here we go.
Videos on videos on videos. Yeah, this isn't real apparently.
You'd be hearing gunshots from that.
Yeah, apparently that's not real. That's what I heard through a couple of other channels. That's not a real video.
No, that's Starlink.
When I first saw that, I actually literally thought it was a Starlink train on a time lapse. It was like,
actually,
anyway.
What about that? What about the video of the cloud? The one that looks like it's kind of like all the lights going. And
that was a weird one.
Show that one, Anthony, if you could.
Yeah,
that's in the group chat.
That was
the one that I said was the airport. Where was that one? And someone's claiming the drone's coming to land or some shit.
Yeah. Why are you trying to find that? Yeah, Mr. Chandler. Yes, the Gosford stuff is very, very interesting. We took a much broader look at it, looking at every variation of research that's been done on it, both from all sides of the fence, people who don't believe it, people who do, all that sort of stuff. We've done a pretty in-depth dive into it, and that's part of the New Year's stuff that's going to come out with unlocking the code, and how old it is, and what tools we used, and these sorts of things. These are questions that we're trying to get the answer to, using empirical data, not just casting stones.
Yeah. So this is a time lapse of the drones.
Yeah, this is.
I don't know if this is New Jersey or what.
Yeah, me and you went round and round with this one, don't we? Because I've heard that is approach on New Jersey Airport, but they look way too close together.
They do. But time lapse too, they're probably about 5 minutes apart.
That's true too, right? That's the thing too, right? Is it just the time lapse that we're seeing?
Yeah.
Because
bloody busy airspace though.
Yeah, because that could be 2 runways. If you think about it, that's 2 runways coming.
And then you see little dots. I don't know, it's coming very clearly on the
Yeah, you could see some of the stuff that goes round and round as well. Yeah,
it's in the way now.
But if that's the
There's little
drones,
lights
that's
on the
insane. If that is truly a time lapse of the drones, that is insane. But I've heard both sides to that video. I've heard no, that's definitely New Jersey on approach. But if you slow that down, it doesn't look like they're planes, though, does it, Anthony?
No,
That's
they
the other
don't.
problem.
No, like you're talking about the objects themselves flying around?
Yeah,
or?
Yeah. The objects coming in.
You got to take into account shutter speed and
digital zoom, all that sort of stuff as well.
What do you call it? Long exposure. So because it's a nighttime image, the long exposure is trying to
that is
light,
true. That is
which
true.
then creates the streaking pattern.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. Yeah, that is true.
So you can probably see some planes down here. I think maybe are they planes?
I don't know if they're cars or planes down the bottom there. I'm not too sure. This is the
tell
problem, right? Like, what's real and what's not? That's
This is the part of the bullshit that keeps getting shared around and going, "Oh yeah, there's drones." You know?
Yeah,
and that's what makes you so conflicted on what you're seeing. On well, what the hell is what? It's frustrating.
Because if that's just a time lapse of an airport, then that's okay. That's fine. But it's being sold as something else. You know what I mean? Like that's the.
But then my other thing was too, like I've never really seen an airport where they allow planes to fly directly over cities, like this big an area, to land. There's like always minimal bit of land for them to go and land on. Like if it's like a major airport, like you look at Brisbane, look at Sydney, even Gold Coast. You know their landing strips are pretty much out on the ocean, basically.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true. I remember coming into Sydney one time, and damn near bloody it was in one of those old school 747s, and they had the big screen, and it's like your altitude is 150 feet. Then we went bang we hit an air pocket going over the bloody going over the city, and basically fell onto the runway.
James, where do you want to go with this link to YouTube? Where do you want to go, mate? What do you got for us?
Oh, g'day, James. Welcome, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Anthony, I just sent you that video in your chat.
What I thought I would show you boys too, just because we're talking about space stuff and talking about long exposure and those sorts of things. This was so basically with my telescope stuff, I got to the point where it was spend $3,000 on a telescope or start the podcast, right? And I chose to start the podcast.
Worst decision ever.
Yeah, it's terrible, terrible decision. But one of the cool things that I caught, boys, that I don't know that I've presented here, and I think everyone would be interested in, is I got a meteorite flying through space.
Oh, yes, right. I remember you showing me that.
Check that out. All right, so that I'm pretty sure is one of the stars of Orion's belt through time lapse, right? So long story short, I set my DSLR on a 10-second shutter, long exposure, multiple shots, and I literally set it up, pointed it at that star, which I'm pretty sure is the middle star of Orion's belt, maybe, and then hit the button and walked away. Like I didn't touch it, didn't go anywhere near it. You know what I mean? Like that was the 10-second shows, 5 shots, and this was one of them. And I took it through to the telescope people down there at Slacks Creek up here, and the dude I spoke to, I'm pretty sure was an alien, but that's another story. But I said, "What is this, man?" And he's like, "Dude, you've captured something tumbling through space in that like." And we're on a lawn farm, like a grass farm, like 10 k's that way, and that's what we captured. You know what I mean? So because that was the time lapse. That's how far that thing fell in 10 seconds through my lens, just by random, just totally random. But the cool thing about this, right, is so that's the star of Orion's belt. Okay, you ready to have your mind blown for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. That's all the other stars. right? So remember, that's
there
a
we go.
star
Now
that
we're caught up.
There we go. Yeah, wow.
That's a star that we can see, right? That's a star that we can see. And if we go like that, that's all the other stars, boys. Right? What I did to one of my mates a few years ago now is because he didn't believe me about this stuff. And I said, okay, that's cool, man. That's cool. What we'll do is we'll get the telescope out. I'll hook the DSLR up. You point it at the darkest bit of space that you can see, and I'll take a photo and we'll see what happens. And it did that. I've got the photo somewhere. I could try and find it. But yeah, it blew his mind because it's like we don't have a perception of the actual space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just looking through.
Yeah, look, then we were talking about that earlier, Maria. Like when we talk about, you know, I wonder whether an old school film SLR would take a much better photo of this stuff. You know what I mean? Because I think, yeah, me and Anthony behind the scenes, you know, we go back and forth about different sightings. But one of the things I'm realizing about all this stuff is the faults with digital zoom. You know what I mean? Like, and it's
just
not
digital cameras in general.
Digital cameras in general, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's not,
let's get this one up. John just sent through. Yeah, oh, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, that's a weird one.
That's it, yeah.
That's a weird one.
See, that to me looks like a shit ton of bullets hitting something.
Oh, I've got another opinion.
Yeah.
Go again. Show me again.
Is it fireworks?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it could be fireworks. Looks like it's definitely
that a fireworks factory gone? I think a fireworks factory went up not long ago, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's a few places that have gone up in the last few
things.
weeks.
Things just catch fire, boys. Food places, egg places, chicken places. They just catch fire now. That's what happens.
But it's just interesting how it goes from one side to the other.
Yeah,
from right to left.
It's fascinating. Like, I mean, that's one of those weird. That's anomalous. Like, if that is a true video, then what is that?
Let's go to the comments here, guys. And see, where's it?
Let's go to the comments.
No, it's on Instagram. Fuck you. Let's have a look. See if we can get on there.
Should be able to get on there.
There we go. We've got something going there. So what we've got. See, this one's got fireworks too. Why did they do fireworks during the day?
Why did they do fireworks during the day?
Maybe they didn't mean to. Well, see, what's
cloud
all that
seeding.
smoke?
Here we go. Look at that cloud seeding. I love it.
That's not cloud seeding. The cloud seed up here for winter. Trust me, it's not cloud seeding.
Yeah, look, I don't. You know, that could be. That could be right there. Could be right there. Could be atmospheric entry. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, the smoke's coming. Look at the smoke to the right.
Yeah.
It's see where the tree is. Look at where the tree is.
Maybe they're engaging.
And look at down the bottom. There's smoke coming up from the ground. What's that? See what I mean?
It's probably a little bit of distance away, and how far fireworks shoot off? Like they're what, about 500 meters, maybe, like till they actually go and explode.
Yeah, that doesn't look like. It doesn't look like
fireworks. If it had, like, you know, a stray one had gone pew straight over this way towards the house and gone kaboom.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one.
Blue beam projection. Okay, interesting.
Blue beam projection. Isn't it funny? Like all these drones came out and all this stuff they're flying over. Everyone, oh, for God's sake, it's just Project Blue Beam. Can you guys just show us something real? Like I'm tired. I don't care anymore. You know what I mean?
Maybe nitro explosion? I don't think so. That's a one-off boom, not a big bloody sparking boom. They had one up here in central Queensland that went boom, and that was a big boom.
I remember
that was a big boom. The Anfo one. There was one in St George out 2013 as well.
Yeah, that's right. There was one that there were too.
Yeah. I was out that way. I knew boys that heard that. They were in Roma and they heard that.
Well, apparently they heard that. Like, this was about an hour away from where I live in Gladstone area, and they reckon they felt the explosion up here, an hour away.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, man. Anfo's unbelievable. Well, Maria, get your DSLR out with some good focus and try and get a picture for us. I've got a spaceship for you, boys. Yeah, stop share for a second.
Oh, right.
I've got a spaceship for you. Just because. Don't want to start start a war. But here's the closest spaceship to us.
I know what's coming here. I know what's coming.
There we go.
I know what's coming. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So true.
Yeah,
So true.
that's all right. But we won't start on that. Yeah.
I've got one for you. I want to, if I can find it. I got sent from a mate. Now this is probably one of those 1 or 2% of footage I've seen that goes, okay, you kind of got me interested in this one.
Okay, well,
So
come on.
show me.
Okay.
I'm hoping I can find it, please. This one.
Yeah, Tardo, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about that earlier. What is it? Blue beam? Is it religious? But the original blue beam idea was an antichrist thing, whereas it's not. You know what I mean? It's a weird one, man. But yeah, I think the psyop side of it is that if everyone gets used to seeing videos of drones in the air, if anything actually does turn up, no one's going to care. What do you got for us here, mate?
I'm searching. Just entertain for a second.
Yeah. It's good radio. It's good radio. Big blobs of silence. Yeah.
Yeah, big dead spots. I can put an ad into that spot.
So Mr. McDermott said it was the aliens from the underwater finally showing themselves. What do we think about that?
We can only hope.
Yes.
I can't see where it's finally exposing themselves. Where's
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Only hope.
I don't know. Like I want to look, Fox Mulder, I want to believe.
Yes.
But until we actually get some, legit footage or something that's not AI generated.
But how do you believe what's legit footage? Isn't
this
that
is
half
the problem
we got? Right?
This
Isn't
is
that
the
what
problem.
we're doing here?
This is the problem. Yeah, we
doing?
just can't believe it. Unless one turns up at my doorstep and says, "Hey, I'm from the ocean."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hi, my name's Nemo, and I'm from the ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I think it was on the TikTok bullshit ones. So bloody TikTok.
So what is it then, John? Right? We just come back to nobody knows, and there's random flying things in the air. UFOs are just part of our life now, right? Is that where we land, or like what do we do with that?
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean,
good. That's great.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Solving all the big questions here tonight.
We're totally solving the questions. I need another drink. Hang on.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Future
beer. Turtle is right. Future Turtle is right. Well, look, we are plus 2 hours, boys, so I don't know how much longer we're going to go, but Future Turtle is right. Everyone, look, again, we're sort of in a bit of a fishbowl here. However, the term Foo Fighters actually refers to the unidentified flying objects and orbs and round saucer-like stuff that they were engaging in World War II. You know what I mean? It's I wonder, boys, whether it's the See, speaking of the X-Files, I actually started rewatching the X-Files. Do you know how hard in the paint they go straight away? Like I'm 3 episodes in, and there's a demon in the bush, and it's a Neanderthal, and then there's you know what I mean? Like they go really hard, really quick. I didn't realize that. But yeah, I mean, this is the other thing too, guys. These orbs, these ships, these things have been coming in, seeing everything, and seeing us for many hundreds of years. If that's the research that I've done over the years. So it's not like it's a new thing. It's just new into the global lexicon of everybody else, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. So I finally found it. So let's.
Good, mate.
So is it?
Thankfully, I can ramble, I suppose.
Thanks for entertaining. All right.
What do you got for us? Show us. Oh, now TikTok's going to raid all our phones.
Yeah.
I don't have TikTok.
So is that 2 in formation? Is that what I'm looking at?
No.
What are the other little ones?
Going by the flare, I'm guessing this is the moon.
So what are we looking at? We're looking at the ones to the right.
The one in the middle.
This one there.
I was initially thinking it was a rocket launch.
What is everything else around it too, though? Is that just bugs or what's going on there?
Stars.
Okay.
But they're moving.
No, they're not moving.
No. The thing, the other thing's moving.
This thing here's moving.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it was
interesting.
I'm thinking it's a rocket, but it looked like it started taking off real quick, but it disappeared as well.
Yeah. Rockets don't disappear that quick.
No, not like that. And that's where things sort of got a little questionable. Like I was like going, all right, I think it's a rocket launch, because like rocket launches do look a bit like that.
Yeah.
And like they have a big flare up behind it as they're going in, but they usually also have the big, well, depending on what time it is too, that big exhaust plume that goes around behind it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. And is there many night launches? That's a good question.
Yeah, there's the odd few. Yeah, there's a few there. So yeah, that's what made me think. Yeah, rocket launch.
Yeah. Okay. When was it?
Tardo's saying there's a few unscheduled rocket launches at the moment.
I have heard that. Yeah.
Mm.
And it looks like it sort of changes direction a little bit. Like maybe goes to the
right.
It does.
It does look like. Yeah, it does look like it sort of changes.
It could have been old mate sort of. I know tilting the camera a bit. I don't know. That's a bit hard to get. So yeah, he's spinning the camera around now.
Maybe this is Space Force.
And this is where it starts speeding up.
Yeah. Maybe it's Space Force. Like, look again. We made the prediction years ago about the aliens under the ocean, and we also. I just want to make another prediction that one day they're going to go, oh yeah, Space Force is real, and we've got all these ships, and we've had them for years. And sorry, the aliens are coming though, so we should probably do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just love how there's like the badge that they brought out though was like the exact of Star Trek.
Yes, it's pretty funny.
I'm going to Google it right now.
Image of Star Trek. It's like okay.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. That the Space Force badge is practically the Star Trek badge. I mean, the thing is that there's definitely a side to this where I think they're just taking the piss out of us. You know what I mean? Like I think, it's quite
humoring us.
Thing. Yeah.
They're all having a good little giggle behind the closed doors of these skiffs. They're going, look at these dickheads here. Think fucking shit's actually real.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what's Turtle saying here? Do you guys think there's any megastructures on mainland Australia? Well, Gosford Glyphs aren't really a structure as such, but there's evidence of something there. But
yeah, look, it's when we say megalith, megalith structures on mainland.
Yes.
No. If we're talking generic megaliths, future turtle, yes, absolutely. There was Australia's Stonehenge. There's multiple accounts of standing stones that have been pushed over throughout the 1900s. Some of that evidence is more credible than others. Look, I think there's still standing stone circles. Look, at Unlocking the Code, we've spent a fair bit of time on this, and we're going to spend some more time on it as we come into the new year to try and join some of these dots. However, yeah, I think so. I think Australia is an unrelated. The thing about the megalithic puzzle is that what's missing, the biggest island continent on the planet, is what's missing. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me or us, right? And yeah, I think there was definitely evidence. But Australia's Stonehenge stories is a pretty. I've done a number of pods on that, but yeah, long story short, it was bulldozed in 1946. If we are to believe the survey documents that were done by Frederick Slater in the mid-30s, it was more intricate and larger than Stonehenge in Britain. And yeah, it was technically done on a man-made hill as well. And I do have a long-range photo of that man-made hill. I've been to where it was, but we couldn't get onto the dairy farm that it now is. But outside of that, next time you're around Mullumbimby and the East Coast, that's that part of New South Wales, just just keep your eye out for standing stones. They're everywhere, right? And I'm not saying all of them are from previous civilization, but what's the obsession with standing stones up all along that area? Like everywhere. There's so many. I've got a whole slideshow dedicated to that. But yeah,
I can share a picture of it if you want to just allude them to it.
Yeah, you can, mate. If you've got one handy, I've got different folders open tonight.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
What happened to the Gympie pyramid thing that you guys were looking into a while back? Now it's got I think it's been cut in half, hasn't it? Thanks to the Gympie bypass.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
There's nothing came really out of it, though, did there? Like saying, like, to sort of prove that it was some sort of structure.
Yeah, look, it is not. I've actually. Do you know what's fascinating about that's Australia Stonehenge there. There's a better shot of it.
Yeah, that's not the best one, but
no. So we want to divert into the Gympie pyramid just a little bit. Long story short, it is not a pyramid as such. It is a ridge line, and depending on who you talk to, it's called Jaki Kundu. And the front of the Gympie pyramid technically still exists, right? Now, curiously, and just I don't know why, I think me and the boys are one of the last field teams to go up there and take photos before it was bulldozed. Not long after,
because you were wanting to go and organise to get a LiDAR up there and shit like that. And
we got a ground penetrating radar up there and all that sort of stuff. So that is what you would call these walls that run up the side, right? So if we go, you can sort of see there's one there. You can see that there's one in the brush here. There's another one there, and there's another one there, right? You can. But that's probably the most prominent one. We cleaned that out a bit, but there's 3 or 4 rows, and you can sort of see how it's pyramidal in nature, right? You can sort of see how it's. I'm standing at the bottom there, and it is going up in a pyramid style. That's probably a better photo of it, right? So you can see from a point of view, it definitely looks pyramidal in nature. This is just. But again, so the mainstream. I'll just flick through some of it. This is a lot of this is that actually there's the radar in the background. That's the radar we hired in the background to try and see if there was any voids under the earth, which there wasn't. It was inconclusive. Look, guys, with the Gympie pyramid stuff, this is some of the interesting stuff. Okay, this potentially looks like evidence of cut rock. And I'm just sort of using my knife there as a bit of a guide, right? There's a bit of a hatchet, and you can sort of see. Look, looks like it's been cut, right? That's my big ugly 10.5. Yeah, there's my big ugly 10.5 boot there. This thing here is apparently one of the story goes that so the ridge line goes like that. There's 2 rocks. They're lying next to each other there. The story goes they were standing up until about 1960 odd, apparently. But again, no one's got a photo. No one. You would think that you would have a photo, but no one has a photo of that. But apparently, they were standing at once upon a time, as the story goes. And honestly, boys, it has to go as the story goes. My experience with the Gympie pyramid and the things that I did up there, it ended very poorly. But that's not for tonight. But extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, as we know, and there was not a lot of extraordinary evidence to be found. There was definitely some interesting stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's the thing is too, like since I took these photos, and it's interesting how your perceptions change, right? When I took these photos, it's like, it's cut, it's right angles. Well, no, I've seen several variations of limestone and other types of stone that break in right angles. You know what I mean? That's not, and these aren't exact right angles. You know what I mean? So it's like
90-degree angles don't exist in nature.
Yeah, that's not true. Yeah, that's not true. Yeah, that's not true. Some of this stuff was done for using an app that tries to bring ink out of different types of stone. This is probably, we've stumbled upon the most interesting thing that I found while I was there. This is what I called the preparation stone. Okay. So the story goes, when we talk about megaliths and stone, is that it, in order to cut stone, there was an elixir made of 3 different things, and prickly pear is one of those things. You mix prickly pear and 2 other things, plants, I would say, and basically you can create something that melts stone. If I knew what the other 2 things were, boys, we'd be melting stone in the backyard. I don't know what they are. But curiously, there was a lot of prickly pear up on Jucky Kundu, okay, at the Gympie site. Now, for me, what this looks like, and I've got to, if we keep moving forward, there was some weird symbology. There we go. Come back to this. Yeah. So that looks like it's been cut, right? That doesn't look like it would break off like that. Okay. That there looks like there's been some sort of tool sharpened through there. If you look, it sort of goes that way and that way, right? And if you look at the bottom here, and I think there's the next photo is that, yeah. If you, I'll just zoom in on this. You can sort of see the rings. Can you see the rings there, boys? It looks like some sort of solution has been created in that, right? And considering it looks melted, like it's very smooth, that stone, I postulated that potentially this was them messing around with that solution to cut the stone. And yeah, that was something weird that we found. That's just a bit of sandstone. But yeah, that was probably the most interesting thing that I found at the Jucky Kundu site, boys. Technically, the front of it still exists. It's got all big fences around there. As I said, there's a much longer story to that. Probably the most curious thing that exists in Gympie is the polygonal masonry, right? And there's a key. There's one that everybody. This is the shot. I've only ever got one post on Instagram that's got like 1,000 likes, right? This is the post. Because I put this post up and said, "Pop quiz, where is this?" Right? And of course, everyone said Pumapuku. Everyone said Egypt. Everyone said South America. So a couple of people said Greece because there's some polygonal masonry. Italy, there's some polygonal masonry. No. That's about an hour and a half north of me, outside a church in Gympie.
Oh, get out.
So what is polygonal masonry doing in Gympie? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird. Right. And if we go, that's the money shot, right? That's the money shot. But if we go back, so tablet was erected to commemorate 70 years at 1938. That's when they finished it, right? That's the back side. This is the more primitive stuff. Here you go. Like that rock there, or this one here, look, that one there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rocks holding this one up there. Right? It's just weird that should be at a church in Gympie. And then there's all sorts of echoes around Gympie of polygonal masonry like that, right? Of people trying to imitate it. And the story goes, again, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I don't have the evidence, so the story goes, okay? The story goes that wall, this wall that is around the Methodist Church in Gympie was donated by someone to create jobs in the Depression era. Okay, so basically they donated the wall, and so that's why they look so worn, and they restructured it. That's why they look so worn and broken. And the thing is, if you start looking at them, and look, I've stood and looked at this wall for quite a while. If you start looking at them, some of them are in the wrong spot. It's like that one needs to come out and do that and go back in again, and then it'd fit better. You know what I mean? Because it was put together by a bunch of workmen in the you know, like
who the hell's even that white one up of that one there, that one looks out of place a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them look out of place. But it's weird, man. It's weird.
Yeah.
And like,
it's almost there, but it's not quite there at the same time. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So look at that, right? So I mean, some of that's pretty precision. But that's the one. Look at this. So a pentagon type stone, right? So this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stones would have been cut to make this stone. To make that stone fit. You know what I mean? Like, why?
Who's going to have time to do that?
Yes.
And who's going to keep going rehandle, just going to sort of like chisel out a little spot here to go, oh, that's not quite fitting. I'm going to chisel it a bit more and like, pick up a bloody, half-ton bloody brick.
And this wall runs for about 300 meters, boys. It runs all the way around the corner of Surface Hill. Yeah.
This is in Gympie itself.
In Gympie, in the Gympie town itself, Surface Hill Church. Yeah, here's another one. Look at this. Go through it. Yeah, this one here. Look at it all. It's weird, right? Like, what is that?
Why they fell on that rock there? The one on the very right. Why they fell on that one?
Well, and see what I mean. See how. So if I zoom in there, right? Here's a good example of the. Oh, what am I doing? Can I go in? Doesn't want to let me go in. No, it's having a freak out. But see the precision that these are in the middle here, but then all around them they're not, right? See, then that's because they've been double handled.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They've been moved.
So, yeah, everything on the lower area, like the lower sort of place, looks like it's not really correct.
No, that's what I mean. Some of it, if you stare at it long enough, it's almost like you want to pull it apart and put it back together again.
You do, like actually.
It could be like, and see, this is an imitation, right? So that's whoever did that, right? I don't think did that because that doesn't look the same. Right?
No, so basically, they're just going to cut it in half and go, oh, they'll fit there, they'll be fine. Yeah.
The wall changes, right? The wall changes about 2/3 of the way down, and I think it's like, see, these guys are pretending to try and do this like that.
Yeah.
So see that this is an imitation of that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's weird, man. It's weird. And as the story goes, and again, there's no evidence to back up anything. So as the story goes, this wall was at the Jackie Kundu site. However, look,
that's a long way to go, though. Jeez.
Yeah, using critical thinking. Well, no, the Jackie Kundu site is within Gympie itself. Like, it's only.
I know that, but like to go and pick up every single one of these rocks to go and relocate it there.
Yes, I know, but where did they come from? There has been some other research that suggested that the Masons were involved. It seems to be you keep digging, the Masons come out, right?
He's hoping. Go on.
The Freemasons were involved apparently, but I don't know. Like, it's a mystery. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, like, and again, curious how you look at things differently, right? So when I first did that research back in pre-COVID, so it was 2018, 2019. We did 5 trips up there. I spent quite a few $1,000s going up there and, trying to help those people prove that it was something. And they just, again, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and they didn't have any. But there's definitely some curiosity there, because I said at the time that, is it a South American influence? Because that's the only place that I knew polygonal masonry came from, or the key, Pumapuku. That's the big one that everyone knows. But the megalith hunter on Instagram, Laura, and some other people that I've got to know through the podcast, there's all this polygonal masonry in Italy and Greece, and like the base of, the big Roman aqueducts, right?
Yeah.
You would have seen those. The base of those Roman aqueducts, some of them is built using polygonal masonry. And the reason, and then the question goes, did the Greeks and the Romans build on top, or did they use polygonal masonry on the bottom, because polygonal masonry is known to have earthquake resistant properties?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So we ended up in a weird place there, but that's a long story short on that.
No, that's all good. It's all good. Well, boys, we're 2.5 hours in this now. Have we got any more we want to go on with, or?
Oh, look, I think the problem is, man, I think we start going round and round, which is why we end up.
It's never ending.
Yeah. So I think the fact that we just ended up at Gympie from drone swarms and underwater ocean beings, I think maybe that's our sign to say goodnight. Well, thanks, boys. Hey, look, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas to everybody. Unlocking the Code version 3 is going to kick off proper next year. Exactly. A good spot's a good spot, right? Well, so to tie reuse and recycle. King's Chamber, let's go. I like it, boys. I like it.
No,
that's good. Don't start with the King's Chamber.
Don't. Please, I've got photos in front of me, and I'm not going to put them up.
From
our trip.
But look, don't no, we're not putting those photos up.
Nope. No. More photos. I'm closing it now.
Yes, no, put them away. So
it's another episode.
It's another episode. Look, guys, I don't know. We'll wait and see, I suppose. But I'm really looking forward to next year and perfecting the sanctum and getting all this expensive gear I bought to work properly. It'd be nice. I'm sure it's something really simple. Tomorrow, if you, I haven't pushed a button or something, is what it is for sure. But thanks, man. Do you know what's fascinating? I dragged you out of your hole this time, Anthony.
You did this time. You did.
Yeah, you drag me out of mine every now and again, and now it's my turn to drag you out of yours. So
yeah, I was quite comfy in my little hole there, but it's like also like, oh, I need to get out of this hole, and it's like, oh, it's nice and comfy in here, and anyway. I was enjoying sitting behind the scenes and watching the chaos unfold.
Yeah. Well, look, the thing is, boys, is that's all we can still do now. No, we didn't solve anything tonight. We got no idea.
No.
And there's no point really worrying about it because there's nothing we can do about it anyway. Like it's just he's hoping that it's the good guys, I suppose.
Yeah. Here's hoping.
Boys.
So look, Drift. Obviously, you're open to people getting in contact with you. Where are they going to find you, mate?
Unlocking the Code, Facebook, Instagram. They let me back on X. I got kicked off Twitter during the chaos.
That's what you did too.
Yeah. They let me back on under a different handle, probably. Yeah. So I'd have to. I don't even know what my handle is on X. I'm not very good at social media, but I'm more than happy for anyone to get in touch and have a chat. Like, yes, I do interviews on Unlocking the Code with people of influence like Anthony. However. The Unlocking the Code was really built on having cool conversations with cool people. So I'll be more than happy. Yeah, you can reach out through Messenger, Instagram, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. Unlocking the Code, Spotify. There's not too many episodes this year because 6 months ago this studio was a pale blue and it's now it's not. But next year there's many things in the works, and one of them is getting Anthony on. I'm going to interview Anthony. He's coming on. We're going to do it.
Oh no!
Because I've been on his show. We've done these, but I haven't had him one-on-one in the for Unlocking the Code. So I'm looking forward to that. Awesome, boys. Well, happy Christmas, Merry New Year, and all the rest of it. Whatever it is.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to the kids and the missos and all the relevant people, and everyone out there. Please stay safe, and I really appreciate it tonight. That was cool. We had a lot of people enjoying us and lots of comments, and so
huge thanks to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, we've got to do more of these, boys.
We do.
You know what I mean? Like I think if we do these, once a month, once every couple of months, we'll get a bit of a roll on with them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think they could be good fun. So.
I reckon people should go and throw in the comments there what topics they sort of want us to go and try and cover, see where they want to go and which rabbit hole they want to get down in, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, who knows?
Put it on the Facebooks there, put a vote out there and go and look, what do you want to look at? What do you want to sort of...
Yeah, that could be a good idea, man. Let's put it on the couple of the pages and put a couple of topics up for vote in the new year, and we can cover what the good people want us to cover, and to just have a bit of fun and share some ideas. And awesome to see you boys.
You too.
Absolutely.
Hopefully next year we can all meet up face to face somewhere along the way. That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
It would be amazing.
I think EDU is due for another UFO hunt. I don't know, like expedition or so, like UFO expedition, I like to call it.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't know where the UTC expeditions are taking us next year as well, man. So we'll.
Pine Gap.
If there's a few of us that can't stop us all, just barge in there. Everyone invade Pine Gap.
That's it.
Can't stop us all.
Stop. This is the problem, right? This is the problem. the people in the chat start throwing weird things at us just to try and get us to keep going, and then it's another hour.
That's it. Just stop now.
Yeah.
We got to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got last day tomorrow, boys. Last day. So last day of the year. I got to get up and go to work. So
it must be nice
awesome,
to have
fellas. I did work FIFO. Don't start with me.
I work roster, but I work the public holidays. You know, I miss out on all the Christmas time.
No, look, man, I did my time in the desert and the jungle, dude. You miss out on a lot. I understand.
You do.
Thanks, Future Turtle.
Also, don't get
thank you.
I don't have to go and deal with the normal lifestyle working 5 days a week bullshit. You know, so it's great.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Storm the gap 25.
I love it.
Yep. Love it. Let's try and make a thing of it.
Look out, government.
Hey, which gap are we talking about here?
Yeah,
careful.
Whose gap or what gap?
No, stop it.
Keep this G-rated.
Started me now. Oh no.
Yeah.
But look, I'd like to say a massive thank you to everyone who has been listening in throughout the year or even the year prior. It's been a fantastic year. We have been a bit quiet with our episodes and that and whatnot. Especially myself, I've been sort of a bit more family orientated in the last 6 months and whatnot. But I'm hoping to get back in here and get back on the bandwagon. Another part of that is too,
Anthony is changing his perspective. Everyone, that's what's actually going on.
How do you mean? How's my perspective? What?
You wait till you get on unlocking the code, mate. I'll tell you.
Yeah, right.
I've been observing.
Everyone knows that, I'm a little bit too critical when it comes to social medias there, and I'll throw everything under the bus, basically. And that's it hits you. It like you said to me the other day. I'm jaded, and I'll admit, I am bloody jaded. But that's only thanks to social media and some of the shit that people want to post up there and believe is
it's the craziest.
It's more disheartening than anything because you want to go and bring out so much light and truth to everything, and people just want to go, nah.
What's happening, Anthony? And look, I faced this about 3 years into my podcast as well. Is I had my rose-colored, and actually it was the Gimpy experience that did it for me, man. I had my rose-colored glasses ripped off my face pretty dramatically. And that's what's happening to you, right? Because, I want the answers. We're going to find out. It's going to happen. Oh, no, everything's bullshit.
Pretty much. Because you just keep hitting a brick wall, and then you talk to some people there, and you're just like, I'm not sure if you're legit or what. And it's like, anyway, they're brick wall. Look at that one.
Brick wall right behind me.
It's all good.
Yeah,
brick wall.
But anyway, so look, I'm hoping to get back in it. Like, I'm definitely there to go and keep trying to track down some sort of truth to this, or any little bit of truth to everything that goes on. But just take me for what I am at the moment. Then trying to get down to the nitty gritty stuff there and find truth and bullshit. So I will be back. We'll be back.
And I'm dragging John around next year, and we've got to do the Gosford stuff. We've got some other things to. We're going to get back into everything's connected as well, aren't we, mate? We had there's 4 conversations going at once in 3 different chats, I think. But
it goes everywhere.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. Yeah,
it is.
Oh, boys, Merry Christmas to the kids.
Thank you.
Hopefully they have a good
Merry Christmas to everyone, family, friends, everyone.
Happy New Year, and thanks very much, everyone, for tonight. That was really appreciate that, and that was a fun way to end the year. So, take care. Let's get out of here, boys.
Let's get everyone.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thank you.